are drawn across the seas. Money's fighting on its knees. The world is spinning, trades the game. Echoes ring, but who's to blame? Walls are rising up so high. Dreams are crushed beneath the sky. Reciprocal flames burn the air. Who's got enough wealth to spare? South winds blow, but the numbers break. Empty pockets, how much to take? Rich hands pulling puppet strings. The poor man's lost what freedom brings. Gold can't mend a shattered heart. Borders bought to pull apart. A deal struck twice, the cost is steep. While nations cry and workers weep. Walls are rising up so high. Dreams are crushed beneath the sky. Reciprocal flames burn the air. Who's got enough wealth to spare? Tin roofs rattle under the storm. Policies shape a brand new norm. The world shouts loud, no one replies. The rich man builds while the poor man sighs. Yeah. Walls are rising up so high. Dreams are crushed beneath the sky. Reciprocal flames burn the air. Who's got enough wealth to spare? Tin roofs rattle under the storm. Policies shape a brand new norm. The world shouts loud, no one replies. The rich man builds while the poor man sighs. When walls talk back and windows cry, boundaries drawn under heavy skies. In the space between the said and seen lies a story that cuts unclean. Hold the ties that thread and tangle tight. Diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carried far away. Persona non grata carried far away.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Welcome back, folks. Whoa, it is Friday night. Just got paid. I wish I just got paid. Nope, didn't get paid. Paid bills. I wish I just got paid. Friday night, welcome back to the program. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you back with us once again. Hey, how about this week? Well, let me tell you something. If you are a supporter of the African National Congress, it's been a bad week. Things have gone very badly. Oh, my goodness. It's a big one. I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming. It's a Fred Sanford week, man. Oh, it has been a bad. Ooh, tough week if you're in the African National Congress or you support that party. My goodness. Ooh. Oh, man. Lots to talk about here for the African National Congress this week. Things have gone from bad to worse, from bizarre to sublime to, oh my goodness. This week, the African National Congress has stood in front of their own goal without a goalie, practicing scoring in their own net. Goal after goal after goal, own goal, own goal, own goal, own goal, own goal. Sounds like a song. Own goal, own goal. What's that song? What's that song? It's in my mind. Ooga chugga, ooga chugga. I'm hooked on a feeling. Yeah, Blue Sweet. Ooga chugga, ooga chugga. Well, if you don't like the ANC, we're going to party like it's 1999 for those of you who don't like the ANC. Wow, what an exciting week. Tough week. And of course, what does little Ronnie Lamola do? Oh, it's propaganda. It's misinformation. Oh, they're talking bad about the ANC. It's not true. Stop it. It's terrible. Oh my goodness, no. Ouch. Woo, Ronnie Lamola. We'll talk about him. Yeah, the ANC had a great week according to the ANC. Yeah, that's because they passed their budget. They're still dancing over the fact that they've put poor people in the poorhouse. Yes, that's right. The African National Congress has made poor people even poorer. Wow. Yeah, that's right. Like a Boss Studio, because I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Because I'm leaving. Yeah, you can't get out of this one. Yeah, the car is parked in a one-way driveway with no way to turn around. Yep. Charles Van Alton, Voice of Reason, is with us from the outset here. Welcome to Niels Han Dynasty. Could be an awesome place. Well, South Africa is an awesome place. There's just poor governance. Dougie Raymond, Anthony Mayer, Equal Odyssey, Jeremy's in from Indonesia, Vlam to USA. Welcome to you. I don't know why Ronaldo has such a hard time with that name, Vlam. It's Afrikaans. I got it, right? Vlam to USA. That means like a rocket, right? Like Vlamgat. Vlamgat. Eddie, good morning to you. Fred Brega Giretho, welcome back to you. Yeah, don't forget to smash the button. The like button. Raina Fletch, Karen Jones, Thomas Stassen, Arctic is here. Oh, there's my moderator. All right, Arctic's ready. All right, Arctic, have you had a few or are we straight? We good to go? All right, okay. Marius, welcome to you. Charles Van Olsen, I already said. Ulrich Fenter, Len Crow, Chantel, Stoic Warrior. I like that. That's a cool name. Gina Mulman, welcome back, Gina. Jax is here. Kalpana Sony, morning, love the music. Thank you, Kalpana. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's still dark. Still dark outside. Okay, well, it's dark here too, so we're in the same boat. Almost midnight here on Friday, the 4th of April, the 5th coming around the corner. Wow, tax day's just 10 days away. Got to do some taxes this weekend. Cold in Cape Argalis, so take a walk now, and normally this time of year it's still warm. Oh, that's strange. Thomas Gosling, welcome to you. Stella 4, hello. South Africa, good morning, everyone. Have a blessed day. Derek Gale, hello to you. Francois Leroux, Thomas Holmes, Psycho Billy, Reg Dodd, Francois Miller, and Michael. Hello, Michael. Annie. America's Got Talent. Here we go. Yeah. Well, I don't have talent. It's a tragedy that I can't sing. I can make a fortune if I just could sing because I can come up with some great songs. Maybe I should be in the songwriting business, but I don't know how to put the music to the words. Dirk Kotsia says, Big Ben has already met with the ANC to avoid a GN collapse. If the A stays, they will lose any credibility they had left. Big business won't assume you know what's best for South African citizens. Well, I think a lot of people already know that they don't think the DA knows what's best for South African citizens. But the DA finds itself in a tough spot. Here's the thing. Everybody keeps acting like the ANC will kick the DA out of the government national unity. It's not their place to kick the ANC or the DA out. It's not their coalition. It is the ANC-DA coalition. They made an agreement. For those of you who watched my interview with Athol Trollop earlier, who politely explained Action SA's position, and then you didn't go on there and say horrible things about him, come on, guys, that's juvenile. The good news is that most people like the videos, so that means that some people were willing to listen to someone they didn't agree with, but others just felt the need to just, cathartic, oh, you're evil, and writing all these nasty things. I mean, that's just unnecessary, folks. That's gratuitous. Let's be adults about it, okay? There's no need to do that to my guests. Athol Trollop has come on this program many, many times, or several times, even when it's in the hot corner for him. The guy went out of politics and was talked to come back in, trying to do something to help the country. He was a fantastic mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay. Let's give him his due. Yell Tapper just gave us 70 Rand super chat. JJ Pretorius tried to beat you, but you just missed out on it. What is the pinnacle of faith? Athol, hoping that Gondwana will find 1% to cut from the budget. Well, that's not a bad thing. That one's okay. That one's not a mean one, so that chat's fine. God, what a week. Have to love Trump in the U.S. Yeah, well, JJ Pretorius, man, I'm telling you, man. Oof. What a week. Okay. Like a Boss Studio, man. Welcome to you, Rena Watt. And Ronnie, thank you for subscribing. Intent Dweller, Gista op en van groepies. What's with all the G's, man? You're trying to make me suffer? You got Gista, you got groepies, you got Genom, you got Gaan, you got Chris, you got Gaan again. It's too many G's, man. I can't do that in Afrikaans this early or this late. Sedgefield's back. Welcome, Sedgefield. Psycho Billy, please don't quit your day job. Time out for Psycho Billy. Craig Pauls, welcome to you. Sariana, 1. Cone Skeppers. ANC, too stupid to know they had a bad week. They got that increase in looting will continue. That's all they care about. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, all you need to know about the African National Congress is in a week in which they have now got legislation pending in front of the United States Congress to sanction their leaders for misappropriation, for state capture, for ineptitude, for ESCOM, for Transnet, for Lady R, for Hamas, for a host of things. In a week that this happened to them, in a week that the U.S. government, thank you, Fiona, 50 Rand, super chat, thank you. In a week that this happened, in a week that the ANC was potentially credibly accused of knowing about a terrorist attack that killed 1,200 people who were raped, murdered, maimed, dismembered in Israel. And it was Christians, Muslims, Jews, people from the entire world this happened to. In a week that happened, the ANC is dancing and toy-toying because they have increased taxes and defeated the DA, and now they can take money out of the pockets of poor black South Africans. What world do these people live in? Who doesn't see this? Who doesn't see this? You've got to ask yourself the question. How do you not see this? It's willful ignorance. It's cognitive dissonance. It's intentional. And it shows that the African National Congress, whatever it is, whatever it was, what it is today is not a party that gives a flying flip about anyone except itself and its caters. That's what its whole purpose is. The raison d'etre, the reason for being for the African National Congress is not to govern South Africa. It's to govern for the caters, no matter how far the ship sinks below the waves. Yep. The ANC is listing heavily to starboard and taking on water. Hannes Holzhausen says, I'm in a mood on par with the mood in South Africa. What, are people happy? I can't imagine people are happy in South Africa. I haven't received my salary. Private company doing government contracts. City, Joburg owes $100 million, so no salaries for us. Wow. The other ghost came to haunt them, says Mari. It's time for new government. Yeah, it's time for a vote of no confidence. All right, so my chat just got hung up here, and I got it free. Let me catch up now, try to catch up. What is that, Tennessee what? I was looking at various states, and third choice was Tennessee. Tennessee's not that heavily populated. It's nice. My brother lives in Tennessee. Heinrich Savanga? Madeline Verre. Okay. Artcast not drinking a week. Yeah, sure. It's time for your analysis. Malcolm Linder, welcome to you. Jakub Blingno, welcome to you. MCM is back. Chronic 206, Stefan Jean Spice, Arnie Tennyson. Gavin Grant, is it true that's how the government knew about the Hamas attack? Well, Gavin, I don't know if it's true. The only reason I covered the story is because it's out there and someone needs to address it. If true, so all I can give you is if this story is true. I mean, normally a story like this, I have other outliers like the claim that that Zelensky bought a platinum mine in Northwest. That was outlandish, and I looked for information on it only to find out, as I suspected, it was just made up. In this story, it's entirely plausible. If it isn't true, then it raises interesting questions. But we have just the one source who purportedly gave this information to the U.S. Senate and has now given it to Brent Bozell, the designated or nominee for ambassador to South Africa. And the media has covered the story. So since the media covered it and people are talking about it, I can't simply ignore the story. All I can do is give my analysis. My analysis is that it seems highly plausible that it's true. Given the timeline, I mean, this is what many of us suspected. This is what I've claimed all along, that the ANC got money to pay for its election debt and for its birthday bash from Tehran. No one else came forward. They've never reported donations to the Independent Electoral Commission. And notice, so the credibility gets strengthened when you see that the paid operatives and the party hacks and the fake media lie about it. So we saw Farrell Haffajee in a conversation with Joel Pollack say, no, that's not true. That has been debunked. That is not true. It's not true that the ANC is paying for the ICJ case with money from Tehran. Well, Farrell, nobody claimed that. And we see the same thing in news boards today. No. We are paying for the ICJ. It's not about the International Court of Justice case. It's about your party debt. It's about your birthday debt. It's about the 150 plus million rand that materialized out of nowhere, not a cent of which has been reported to the Independent Electoral Commission. Go look at the stats, folks. Go look at the figures. The numbers don't add up. The numbers do not even remotely add up for the ANC to have conducted its campaign, pay its debt when its possessions were about to be repossessed by the sheriff of the court, and also to pay for its 112th birthday bash. Now they have a 113th birthday bash this year. There's no money there. The amount of money that came in from the Bato Trust and from other places, and the White Monopoly Capital, whatever you want to call it, all the stuff that feeds the ANC, all that money wasn't enough to cover the debt, let alone all these other things. So you tell me. So it is plausible. Now, so if it's plausible, what's the impact if, in fact, it is true and proven? Well, it's devastating. If, in fact, this is proven, that's it. Germany's out. Germany will not support South Africa, and they'll probably openly criticize South Africa. For UK is out. Even with Keir Starmer, they have no choice to be out. There's a strong Jewish lobby and presence in UK with a major impact on the financial district, and that's the last thing that the United Kingdom needs is to upset pro-Israeli folks who are working in Canary Wharf. Not a good idea. So they will be out. I don't know what France will do. They tend to waffle sometimes, but that's the end. Countries like Japan will not openly support South Africa. They will just simply withdraw and leave them alone if this is true. So that's what I can do. I can talk about the impact, and that's what I did. CJ and Maggie, how are you? I'm fine. Grant Matthews. Mark Paul, welcome. Ian van Rooyen. My dad lives in Sedgefield. Okay. Oh, nice. And George is nice, yeah. I've only driven through Nice on the road. I've never actually stopped there. Yeah, Raina, almost 70,000. Thank you, amazing work. Well, today's been a good day. I'm going to get to that in just a moment before we get into the ANC's horrible day, because I let more people show up. 430 people here at, it's 5:55 on the Saturday morning. What's going on, folks? Welcome. Maybe it's the title. We're going to talk about this ANC situation. It's bad, bad, bad. I have the proposed laws in front of me. The one from, well, they're both from Texas, members of the House of Representatives. I have the one here that's proposing sanctions on ANC leaders. I also have the one talking about citizenship, or not citizenship, but refugee status for South African white Afrikaners. Enjoyed your note with Ethel Trout, very insightful. Is that what you meant, insightful? Insightful you used there means inciting a riot, not as in informative. I'm sure that you know that. Am I allowed to name a tweet from a rep? Yeah, you can, Annie. You can name all you want there. Okay. And there's the 2 super chats I saw. Athol Mashaba bet the whole house on the ANC keeping their word. Yeah, it's a bad idea. Yep. Morning, all things are getting so intense on so many issues that we have come to the spotlight. It's great that finally there's potential accountability. Yeah, man, wouldn't that be exciting? Bushveld Boat, welcome to you. Cleo DePolo, hello, hello, hello. I think there's a lot of anger because the poor will suffer the most. I think we have a right to be angry at Action SA. Yeah, probably not appropriate to express. No, Karen, no. You can be angry at Action SA, but the attacks on Ethel Trout were personal. That's the only issue I'm taking. You can rubbish something somebody says in my channel. You can rubbish what I want. Well, you're wrong. Your premise is incorrect. You're not including this in your analysis. You know, you're biased in this direction. That's all legitimate criticism. But you know, there's some personal attacks on Ethel Trout, and he came on the program. There's no need for that. Okay. Besides, I don't need people attacking my guests. It's hard to get guests back when you attack them. They won't want to come back. I mean, look, I know that if I got Emma Powell on here, I'd get a big audience because some of you are just sweet on her. But people had bad things to say about her. Ongisa Damane, say, Chris, do you think Ronnie Lamola is out of his depth? I do. I think he's out of his depth. You didn't see my video from earlier. That's exactly what I said, the video I did this morning. I said, Ronnie Lamola is completely out of his depth. Why do you have him as a foreign minister? The guy's not even qualified to be a member of parliament, let alone a cabinet member. Yep. Come on, like a boss. And I think that's just mean. That's just mean. That's just mean. What are you doing, man? You're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me. Killing me. Fiona, thank you for the 50 Rand. All their sins are coming out. How much they would try and deny before the country and the world. Yeah. CNA is grabbing on straws by the 0.5% VAT increase there. It's ticked is stamped. Who's CNA? Karen says, Chris, you GGGGG for too long. It's just a quick G. No, not according to Ronaldo. Ronaldo, it's not Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo. Host. That's how I have to say it when Ronaldo's around. Yep. When these sanctions hit, you'll see its effect on the sales at Gucci, Louis Vuitton. Yeah. Good morning. Yeah, hey, you don't stop buying, that stock that I own from Anton Rupert, that luxury stock. The guy said he's going to make you sing and him selling earplugs. He's going to make millions. That's fine. Look, I know I can't sing. I was very good. Before puberty, I sang in the choir at church. I had a very good voice. It was a lot higher. Puberty came, and then I never did get quite the deep bass. I mean, I can do that. I can sing with a deep voice. Yeah. You might think you hurt my pride. No, I don't know that song, Ryan. I'm not going to try that. Rain, I'm not going to try that. If it's true that they know about it, there we are screwed. Yep. All right. Arno Olinga. If an ANC gets sanctioned, what can be implemented to make their life more cock? Oh, they can laugh it off all they want, but they won't be able to do anything internationally. They'll be screwed. See, there's one advantage of being the world's supreme superpower. We set the rules for the global interaction. Aviation, finance, banking. We set up the current global system. Not alone, but we set it up. And it favors our ability to hurt people in the system if we want to. That's what they always complain. America's a imperialist power, they're abusing countries. Well, we don't, by and large, but we can. Just ask Russia. We can do even more. As a nation, the United States can do a lot to hurt an individual, no matter where they live. Maybe North Korea, it's a hermit kingdom. We really can't affect them there. Dirk Coetzee says, vote of no confidence won't remove the ANC. It would take a lot of parties teaming up that aren't going to team up. But anyway, Ronnie Jackson tweet about that. I didn't see that. Well, let's go check that out. Ronnie Jackson. Let's go to Twitter. Ronnie Jackson. Okay. Ronnie Jackson, Republicans. Oh, that was Chuck Schumer from like 1970 or 80. Oh, 1996. Let's listen to this. Chucky Schumer. I got to show you this before we look. 1996, Chuck Schumer in the Senate, who's now defending illegal aliens, who's now saying that what Doge is doing is wrong. Listen to Chucky Schumer, 1996. This is funny. My, how the chickens come on the roof with video, catching these liars in the act.
I thank the gentleman, salute him for his work on this, rise in support of the amendment. First of all, Social Security card is used from one end of America to the other as an identification card right now. Who are we kidding? If you want to pass a law and says it shouldn't be.
Well, it was illegal to use it. That was the law, Chucky. You didn't have your head in the game.
I would ask the chairman and the distinguished minority member of the Social Security committee to pass that law, but let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. And here, the gentleman from Florida has put together the most effective anti-fraud measure we can find without it changing the actions of the government one bit. And we find all this opposition. Ladies and gentlemen of this chamber, what I worry about is that this bill, which started out with good intentions, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, is going to end up being the same kind of thing that the public gets angry with us on. We say we're doing something,
We do something else.
and we do nothing.
Yeah, Chucky Schumer lying to the world 31 years ago and now taking completely opposite tack because he's a fraud. Okay, Ronnie Jackson. Let's get to Ronnie Jackson now. Okay. I don't see anything about South Africa. No, I don't see anything here from Ronnie Jackson. Maybe he did it, but I don't see it. All right, back to this. The air is so thick with anger and frustration where I live, it's an absolute powder keg, literally waiting for something to give. If this was Brian the Who, government would have resigned and called for elections. Yeah, that's what should happen to coalition. Yeah, it should have been a resignation. Karen Bops just gave a super chat. Chris, please say, oh, 88 for us, okay. 88. I can't, 88. 88. 88. 90. 90. Yep. Arctic says not going to have a big impact. Well, they're going to have a hard time stealing money and putting it somewhere. Bernard Kroff, welcome to you. Vincent Janssen from Rendsburg. Okay, what else we got in here? Warning all have to go going to a biker meet. Okay, Sarl, have a good meet there. Under how USA have all this intelligence, I'm sure they have the receipts and won't just overlook it. If it threatens USA, so sure. Yeah, Amanda. Well, okay, you're talking about the intelligence the U.S. government has. Ladies and gentlemen, please tell me which of my predictions have been wildly inaccurate. Some may have been premature, some may have been slightly off the mark, but tell me which predictions I've made in the past 5 years that have come completely wrong. I've been kind of cautious at times about what I'm predicting, have I not? But I did accurately predict the election results 3 years before they happened. Did I not? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I did predict all these issues were going to lead eventually to the tariffs on South Africa and possibly sanctions. Yeah. So, yeah, no. And that's me without access to signals intelligence, counterintelligence, human intelligence, strategic. I don't have access to any intelligence system. It's just me, an intelligence analyst with open source information and access to some people in halls of power on a couple sides of the world who will share things occasionally, but not classified information. I wouldn't take classified information. So with unclassified information, I have painted a picture which is entirely accurate of South Africa for years now. Imagine what the U.S. government with a dark black budget of tens of billions of dollars that Congress doesn't even see. They just approve. Here's the receipt. Go spend the money. Imagine what the U.S. government knows. Remember, we got in trouble. We weren't in trouble. People were surprised when they found out that we were tapping the phone of Angela Merkel. Remember that? That was big brouhaha. The Americans are tapping the phone of their allies. Yes, because the Germans are unreliable. The Germans gave every secret we ever had over to the Soviet Union and to the Stasi. Of course we listen to them. What do you expect? Friends listen to friends. New Galaxies, welcome to you. South Africa going to list as a terrorist country. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. If ANC knew about an aid to Palestine and took their money, that makes sense. All the flag pushing. Yeah, exactly like a boss. It makes all the sense in the world, doesn't it? Go USA, ANC to Luthuli House. Gordon Graham. Oops, I jumped ahead of me there. I'm going to have to jump ahead a little bit here. How does the EU continue its relationship with South Africa? The U.S. will instigate targeted sanctions. Surely the EU's relationship with the U.S. is more important. Well, the people that leading the EU don't care. They've proven that. They will lock up their citizens for not getting jabs. They will silence them. They will put a German woman who's committed no crime and simply repeat it was publicly available information in the newspapers. In a social media tweet, they'll put her in prison for 2 years where she'll be sexually abused and her life destroyed as a felon because she accurately reported that third country South Asian rapists gang raped a 14-year-old German girl and they weren't given any jail time. She reported that. She's spending 2 years in a German prison right now, im Knast. They don't care. The Europeans don't care. The people that run that are just frauds, just like the ones who run all these other countries. They're frauds. It's about self-enrichment, self-aggrandizement, and craven political power. And the virus is fighting back. It's fighting back with lawsuits in America, with lies in South Africa in the media. Yeah, you see it all the time. TNL, welcome to you. I saw the video. I went to comment, but I saw all the nasty comments. I just thank you, video. Thank you for that, Loretta. Yeah, I haven't taken any down yet, but I probably take some of them down just because it's unnecessary. If you dislike Athol Trollop, then send a message to the Action SA. But please don't come on my channel and just say nasty things. I mean, if you disagree with them, that's welcome. You can say, look, Athol, I think you're crazy to believe, trust the ANC. It's not ever going to happen. That's fine. But the personal stuff is uncalled for. Wonder if this is true, how mainstream media will get out of this lie. No, Newsroom Africa apologized. Somebody sent me that. Where was that at? Somebody sent me the apology from Newsroom Africa. Hang on. Where's it at? Oh, come on. Somebody sent me that earlier. Somebody sent me that earlier. There it is. Okay. Several people sent me. Ronell sent it to me. Let me get to that. Okay. So this is Newsroom Africa apologizing to AfriForum. This is what they have to do for spreading lies and yellow journalism about AfriForum. Remember I said AfriForum never ran a campaign about white genocide. I told you, I've never seen it. If they did, I missed it. And if you can show it to me, I'll admit to it. But no one can. Because it never happened. So here's a 40-second apology, okay? It's posted by them. Oh, what do people say to me? So I'm going to read to you the comments from people here. So here's a reply.
In a recent interview with political analyst Professor Amanda Khosa, inaccurately stated that AfriForum has taken matters of the apartheid flag to court to ensure that it is not declared a crime against humanity, and they've gone to the United Nations to declare a white genocide. I do apologize to AfriForum for this inaccuracy, and as a point of correction, their opposition to the Nelson Mandela Foundation's application was to ensure that the apartheid flag is not declared a hate speech. Further, their submissions to the UN were intended to bring awareness to what it calls racial discrimination and hate speech against minorities, including the song Kill the Boer.
You could just see how that was painful for her.
And today, we're here.
How painful that was for her to admit. That killed her. She really struggled.
In a recent interview.
So now what I said in response to that was the following. So I responded and I got 7 replies, okay? And I got some nasty ones. So this is what I said. I said, how about apologizing to me now for lying about my analysis of Amanda Khosa's comments about non-existent U.S. sanctions in South Africa? And Michael says, damn right, you two are owed an apology. Let's see if they can muster up the same amount of gusto for an apology that it took to accuse you of lying and spreading misinformation. This news channel is pathetic, no real journalism, no honesty. Someone else said, love watching every day. Thank you for everything. Then this guy says, fuck off. Okay, Tumasi told me to fuck off. And then Clifford Gerber said, well, I think that's bad news too. Let's translate that. Telling me, boy, fuck off, I think it is. Yeah, it wouldn't translate. I think it means fuck off, boy. I see your Messiah is doing a great job crashing the markets. And then also stop threatening smaller innocent countries like Greenland. And then this clown down here in training says, just note, this guy's an American, not an Afrikaner. Yeah, no, I am an American, dipshit. What would you think I was? A Greenlander? Do I look like I'm an Inuit? I'm a full supporter of Afrikaners and Afrikaans culture. Well, good for you. They should have more of a say and be treated better and actually respected for the work they do for South Africa. The farmers of South Africa, both black and white, are the heart of South Africa. It just happens that most of them are Afrikaners. Okay, they play a vital role in this amazing, diverse country. That's all fine. This dude, however, is only after his best interests, aka helping further divide the Afrikaners from the black community so his country can take the farmers and assimilate them in the American culture until they lose Afrikaans culture. What a fucking moron! What a fucking shithead! My best interest, look, fuckface, my best interest is to get some rest and exercise and be healthy. Not spend 15, 18 hours a day bringing the truth to people because people lie and scumbags, hate wankers like you who are self-pleasuring themselves lie about people. This dude only has his best interest. This dude is only after his best interest. My best interest, spending tens of thousands of dollars of my life savings to bring the news to people. My best interest, running for political office, taking $22,000 of my own life savings out to run for office to make the country a better place. Shut up, moron. AKA help further divide Afrikaners from black communities. What are you fucking talking about? I'm the only person who constantly tells people that you have much in common with these communities, like the Baralang, like the Sutu, like the Tswana, which the Baralang are part of, and like the Griquas. I'm the one telling people that for 5 years on this program. What a fucking asswipe this person is. Divide black communities. How many people have gone to the Basutu Cultural Village and done a documentary on it? Show me a show of hands. You can't, because nobody's covered that, ever. Good Lord. So our country can take, you can keep your farmers. We don't want them. Every day I tell people, don't come here. Don't come on my lawn. What a moron. Assimilate them to American culture, lose Afrikaans culture. You're such a dipshit. These pathetic losers. His videos are mainly propaganda. He's not doing these videos for any other country or other places that have conflicts. What in the world is he talking about? I'm virtually the only independent journalist who's been covering Myanmar since it happened on February 1st of 2022. I'm the only journalist who was, well, not the only, but lots of journalists who were warning you about Ukraine in the summer of 2021, not in 2022, in the summer of 2021. This guy's an idiot. Oh my goodness. Anyway. Wow. Wow. U.S. reaches far and wide. Give enough time, they'll find all the places that caters say they're stolen. Yep. If you decide on sanctions, they will need to support Europe and Asia for them to be effective. That's true, Arctic. That's true. The ANCFF are too arrogant, too ignorant to understand what the repercussions of sanctions are. Yep, I think you're right, Daryl. I think you're right. Thank you, Chris. Tried the whole morning to see that. It's 1,200. Okay, 12 hours ago? No. 13 hours ago. No, I don't see it here. Southern border, it goes back to March 29th. There's not much there, so I'm not denying it. Maybe it's been moved. Mr. QB, hello to you. Sylvester Stallone is back. Yeah, it's sad when you can't get rid of the ANC because the next option is worse and more radical. Mm-hmm. The U.S. know how many properties belong to Americans, the beaches of South Africa, like camps at Nista? Does the U.S. know how many properties belong to Americans? No. Why? How would the U.S. know that? Why would the U.S. care? Now, Americans earning a living in South Africa, the U.S. knows about that because if they don't file taxes, they're going to be in trouble. Yep. And Neisner, Plettenberg Bay, that is a problem. How is that a problem, Nick van Rensburg? What's it a problem? You have a problem with foreign nationals owning land in South Africa? Fine. Send them all home. Watch your property prices collapse. You think it's bad trying to sell a house in Joburg now. Try to sell it when there's no foreign nationals there of any means. Alley Cat wants to know what's going to happen to all the financial support that you promised. Well, it was a promise, Alley Cat. I said I don't think it'll ever be forthcoming. It's mostly loan guarantees. And now the people who are going to make the loans, if their banks are probably going to back out, they don't want to be tied to this. So if the banks back out, who's going to loan the money to them? The governments? We'll see. Yeah, I don't think that money's ever going to be forthcoming. And I said so when they made it. It was just empty promises. It was just for show. Ooh, look, we're supporting ANC. ANC can handle, we can handle 0.5, but the ANC won't be able to handle all their toys and assets frozen internationally. Exactly. Herman says, take another sip of Starbucks, Colonel. Don't let these dipshits upset you like that. Nah, I'm not upset. Just having fun at his expense. People can say dumb things, can't comprehend social media. If a person knows in real life said something like that, yeah. Yep. Those South Africans that can't see how South Africa hates us is really, really naive. Honestly, he said it feels good. It's been wanted by the USA. Okay, thank you for everything you do. Okay, all right, you're very welcome, guys. Limpopo. It's raining now? Wow. There's no money, Salem's Cave. Cape Historical Society. There you go. I like that. It's a nice username. What did Hillbilly? I don't see Hillbilly on there. Tim Martens. Good morning, Hugh. So where was that at? Why does Europe support Salem's Cave? Well, they haven't. They just made a promise. The European Union promised to, back loans and grant money and stuff like that. They haven't done it. It's a promise. Lots of negative comments aren't organic, I think. Well, there's a lot of politics involved. Look, you can have negative comments, folks. You can have negative comments on my content. I don't care. Propaganda on my channel. Yeah. Well, my revenge would be to go to that clown and put down the link and tell him, come put down my link in there and say, hey, come watch the propaganda. What do they pay you for this? Well, okay. What do they pay for this libelous commentary? And then I'm going to put a link to my channel. There's my revenge. Okay, your channel. There you go. What do they pay you for this libelous commentary training? Folks can see for themselves that you're a liar. And there's the link to my channel. There you go. All right, cool beans. That's how you respond to these idiots. Oh, there you go. Yeah, here you go. I'll link the video. Okay. Here's the link if you guys want to go over. It's right at the top. Mine's at the top. So if you want to go over there and slam them, you're welcome to do that. Don't do it if you don't want to. You don't have to go there and get in a pissing contest. You can just go over there and like my comment. There's the comp. So that's where it's at. These guys are idiots, Colonel, and don't speak for. I know, Malcolm. I know that. How to piss a Bantu off? Give your house to a Zimbabwean. Oh, good Lord. Thank you for all the hard work you're doing for losing sleep on our behalf. I follow you religiously and shut down all the noise regarding the refugee program. Cool beans, Thea. I'm glad that we can help get you this straight news. Sounds like you're speaking Kosovo-Afrikaans. European Union is stupid because all the smart people left the U.S. and South Africa in 16 to 17 years. JJ, I like it. I like it. Well, what has Europe done since the 16? We left in 1621. My ancestors, we got the hell out of there. Exit stage left. Went to Virginia. And what has Europe done? War after war after war after war after war, World War, Cold War. Yeah, that's Europe. Yeah, they do nothing but kill each other, and even more wars than you realize. I'm reading about the war that occurred in Carinthia in Austria from 1918, 1920. Did you know about that? There was a war in Carinthia, Klagenfurt, and Villach, as the Slovenes attempted to attack and annex the Austrian-speaking portion of Carinthia. Yeah, a 2-year war they fought. Does anybody know about that war? Do people know about the Ottoman-Italian War of 1912 in North Africa and what is today Libya? It's nothing but war. The Balkans wars, all over the place. That's all they do is they kill each other. They're good at that, the Europeans. That's why the smart people got out. I don't understand. What code does one need for a Telegram app? There's no code for Telegram app. You don't need a code. There's no code. What does that mean? You're the second person that said that, Lawrence. What are you talking about? What code for Telegram? You just download it. And you type, you click on the link, you join a group. It's easy to do. I don't understand this code. What code do you need? There's no code needed for that. I never needed a code. Did they make you put a code in to verify that the app is accurate? Mike Oxlong says, working in Vietnam, thanks for the info. Planning on obtaining a green card ASAP. Joining this military. Well, you got to be under the right age there, Mike, and you got to have a clean record. But it's possible. Thank you for 50,000. I don't even know what the Vietnamese currency is called. I've forgotten. Oh, okay, got you, Arctic. Well, I don't remember having that requirement. Thank you for that. Oh, one-time PIN. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Okay, yeah, that's what you send a code. Two-factor authentication. Oh, yeah. Okay, got you, Darty. Yeah, well, that goes to your phone number. Maybe your phone number, something's wrong with your phone number. I don't understand that. EU is genuinely getting dumber. They're repeatedly sleepwalking in world wars. Yeah, exactly. Well, they are now. They're sleepwalking right into a conflict with Russia. They want to walk into a conflict with Russia. This is what Jens Stoltenberg, this is what the Germans, with the French, with the Brits, they all want a war with Russia. Notice that none of them have ever had any peace talks. None of them ever tried to calm the thing down. All of them have picked up the tempo. It's crazy. Janine Boydendog says, good morning, Chris. Thank you for your videos. You've been a light in the dark for tunnel for many. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. We're getting rewards for that now. Before we get into the news, let me just talk about that, folks. Wow, I got to say, I'm again humbled today and very grateful. We are approaching 70,000 subscribers. I don't know if we'll make it tonight. Bear in mind that the statistics that are reported on YouTube, at least here, I don't know how it is in South Africa, but my statistics are based on California time because that's where YouTube is based out of. So they're 3 hours behind. So I've still got another 2 hours and 38 minutes of data to come in. So in 2 hours and 38 minutes, if I can get another 244 subscribers, we will have hit 70,000. Wow, 70,000. We're so close. So, but let me talk about what's going on the channel, folks. This is cray-cray. Fantastic, exciting stuff. So we have had 527,000 views in the last 48 hours. Now, bear in mind that that's views from 48 hours ago, which were pretty good. Let's see how we do now, if we can pick up the pace tonight and for the next number of hours. I don't know if we will because I don't have new videos coming out right now. The ones that are up are previous ones. But let me put this in context. From April 20th of 2021 until December 31st of 2024, almost 4 years, 3 years and 8 months, we had 3,400,000 views on this channel, and I worked very hard. Apparently, only in my best interest, trying to divide Afrikaners and black people. What a crock. Anyway, 3.4 million views. So people say don't get obsessed about views, but views mean something. It generates revenue. It gets traction for videos, and more people find it, and more people subscribe. So the views do matter, folks. Anyway, 527,000 views in 48 hours. So in 2 days, I picked up over 1/8 of my total views from 3 years and 8 months. That's crazy. Thank you all for that. Really grateful for it. So let me take a look at something else here. The audience, I'm going to take a look and see what we got here. We're up to, let me see, 54% subscribed, 45% not subscribed. That's a number that's going the wrong direction. We need more people who are unsubscribed to be watching the videos than the inverse. Otherwise, we can't gain subscribers. So that might change because it's the last 28 days, and we've had more people recently, so we'll see. Almost half of you watching from mobile phone, 47%. Wow, that's a lot higher figure than I would have gone with. It's still 3/4 men, 1/4 women. And the demographics are about half the audience is 55 or older, which is probably because of the refugee program. And 84% are in South Africa, 5% US, 2% Australia, 2% UK. UK used to be 4%, and USA used to be 8%, and South Africa 50%. But all these people from South Africa tuning in lately have changed those dynamics, which is fine. No complaints whatsoever. Anyway, so yeah, let's, unique viewers. Okay, so let's go back to the overview here. But I want to talk about the videos here. So lifetime now, my top 10 videos of all time on this channel, this newer channel. Let's say 88. There you go, Zombash. You must be behind. So 9 of my top 10 videos all now have 100,000 views or more. Lab Studio just subscribed. Thank you for that. 100,000 views or more. Wow. And today, I think I achieved something that we've achieved something together that we've never done before. Today, I think we had a video that went over 100,000 views on the first day. I don't think that's happened before. Let me go back and see this other video. So the Trump video that got 184,000. That one got. Okay, well, that got 103,000 in one day, so I'm wrong. This won't be the first video that got 100,000 in one day. So I think that's the only one that got 100,000 in one day. I'm just double checking here. No, I had two. Okay. So it's not. I'm wrong. It's like my third video that's had 100,000. We're also approaching 13 million views. Yeah, 1.2 million viewed hours. That's incredible, folks. Yep. So thank you for that. That's you guys. That's all you guys. Really appreciate it. Watching the channel, joining it. It's very awesome to see. So anyway, 576 people currently here. Wow. Suntel Bridges, currently extremely intelligent, qualified, and educated. You're a role model for us. You work with passion. I do work with passion, Suntel. Thank you. Hopefully, YouTube money will start coming in properly. Your work you do needs to be paying more. Well, Primal Boar, thank you for that. But that's the ad money. The super chats are nice, and I really appreciate it. They help a lot. But the ad money really is making a difference. But I mean, I'm deep in the hole. I didn't do this to get wealthy. That's for darn sure. And remember, for those who are here from the very beginning, they know that I refused to monetize my channel initially. But I saw the value after you guys pointed it out. But I didn't see the reason at first. It didn't make any sense. I went and further searched AI on how much interest there is in refugee status, and yes, you were close. 70,000 primary interest. So your math is spot on. Maverick Port, only 100 farmers. Yeah, Mr. QB, but I mean, I'm not sure how. First off, I don't trust AI, artificial intelligence. It's programmed to be anti-conservative and not objective in most cases. And the 70,000, I don't know where they get that basis for that. But again, my number was at least 121,000 that we're aware of. And now it turns out there's another 5,000, 126,000 that we're aware of. But some of those are duplicates. So I said, let's say 100,000, roughly 110,000. So yeah. So I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm sure my numbers are pretty good. I mean, look, I don't just, throw it out there. I have a basis for what I come up with. Jeffrey Bernard says, cheers from New Zealand. Welcome to you. Well done. Your news and revenue can take you on holiday. No, I can't go on holiday, Craves. I can't afford a holiday. Too busy paying taxes. too busy supporting the channel. So I don't know if you guys appreciate it, but lately, since I've been out on the road, I've been going out and finding decent looking spots to take videos. It's springtime, so it seemed an apropos time to go out when the trees are in bloom. I was in front of a weeping willow. I was in front of a dogwood, in front of a cherry tree in the background. Just try something different. Hopefully we'll get to 100,000, Reg. I want that plaque from YouTube. By the way, that plaque from YouTube, not a lot of people have that thing. I mean, maybe a lot of people over time have gotten it, but there's only. So where's that thing at? View stats. Okay, I'm gonna check something out here very quickly. Give me a second here. So I'm gonna check something out. I'll tell you something about my channel, okay? Okay, so I'm going to look at this. So my channel with 68,000 subscribers and old data is the 2,530th largest channel on YouTube. Now, 2,500, that doesn't sound impressive when you realize that there are tens of millions of content creators on YouTube. I had no idea that I ranked so highly. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Now, my total views are in the top 1 million people, because you get people come on, they put one video like, it's a goat. They post that and it goes viral and they get 40 million views. So when are you ever going to catch up with that? So I'm in the top million, but for subscribers, I'm in the top 2,500 and climbing. That's crazy. That's crazy. So very, very cool stuff. And doing very well here, averaging subscribers. So right now, the weekly average is about 3,500 before Friday. 3,500 per day has been the case for the past few weeks. So 3,500 per week. So if I get 3,500 per week, 30,000, that's going to be about 7 more weeks. But maybe we'll get there sooner. Oh, yeah. Flashing lights. Oh, you mean for blue light escort? Percy Trowell, welcome to you. Robert Blake. Tomahawk's recovering. Okay, I'm glad you are recovering. I'm never going to catch the goat. I do appreciate everybody sharing. That's one reason why the channel has been growing. The reason my channel wasn't growing wasn't because the content wasn't good. It's just because it wasn't available. People didn't see it. If you can't see it, you don't know about it, you're not going to find it. And people weren't pushing it. Yeah, I mean, so monthly views. Okay, let me show you what's going on here. And by the way, am I acting all high and mighty and bigger than thou and other stuff? I mean, am I? Guys, I mean, with this good luck that's been happening to the channel lately, no. I'm the same dead sexy person I was before. Wait, hang on. Now we're dead sexy. You got to take the glasses off, man. Can't be. So let me just show you this. hang on, that's not what I want. I'm saving a graphic here to show you what's happened to the channel. And it's all because of you guys and all the people finding us. So I'm really grateful for it. So let's open a new window. Here we go. I got to do multiple things here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to show you what's, come on. There we go. Okay. All right. So this is my channel and the stats. Hang on a second. Okay. So here we go. Let's take a look at this. So this is what my channel's done. Okay. So go back to May last year. Okay. Thank you, Andy Musso, for subscribing. Going back to May last year, look at that. May, June was big. I was in South Africa for the elections last year in June. July, August was low. September, October was very low. November went back up. December was low. And then we took off in December. And you notice in December, it's because of Knobs and Keezy and all the news going on. From the beginning of December until January, did very, very well. Then look at February and look at March. Look at that. Look at that. Those are the views. Yep, those are the views. And it's all because of you. Watch your show earlier. Please share the amount of new jobs created. Well, it's not going to stick the trolls back. In March, the United States economy created 288,000 jobs, according to the Department of Labor. The forecast by economists was 130,000, so it was 150,000 more jobs than they said were going to happen. Can't wait to go for walking walks. All the stress is about bears, and they're fluffy and look cute. Stay away from the bears, Janine. Stay away from the bears. No heavy lifting, okay? Hey, Kay's Garden, how you doing? Got to make space in your wall for YouTube. No, well, Reg Dodd, when that thing comes, if I get 200,000, I'm going out to the woods here. I'm going to film it. I'm going to get a 12 gauge, and I'm going to blow it apart. Then I'm going to hang it up on the wall behind me with all the pellets in it. Yeah. Anthony says you're on the button with all your stuff. Thank you for that. Okay, the trolls are contributing. Yeah, they are. They are contributing views. Thank you to the trolls. And there are plenty of them. Walking around in sleeping clothes with a cigar like a guy at Playboy Mansion. No. I will get my... Where's Garrett at tonight? Where's Garrett Gillich tonight? Is he doing something? Or this morning? I will walk around with my... is this a Gemsbok horn? Or an oryx? Which... We'll walk around with this, yeah. So I'll walk around with this. I'll lean on my cane there. I'll smoke those big Cubans. It's my pimp cane. It's my pimp cane. I will stand up in Congress. Liar! Liar! Trump's a liar! He's a liar! He's a liar! Hey, don't laugh about that, Kane. That got me to the front of the line and I fly SAF Air from Pretoria or from Joburg back to Cape Town. Just standing there leaning on it because I could barely stand. I had to carry it somewhere. I didn't put it in my bag because I would have broken it. And they're like, sir. I'm like, yes? Come here. I'm like, okay. So I kind of hobbled over because my hip was killing me. And they let me board first. I'm like, oh, thanks. Well, I mean, it wasn't illegitimate. I could barely walk, so they wanted to get me on before others. I was in pain that day. I think Americans will take the South Africans. I think you'll be fine, Russell. We take the people all over. I mean, just down the street here, I don't know where my neighbors are from. They're from somewhere in South Asia. I think it's Nepal or something like that. They're very polite and friendly, but okay, a couple things. Whatever they're cooking sounds like dead skunk. And whatever those people are eating in that house, it's reverberating through the neighborhood, and it's disgusting. It's vile. Okay, so, but they're allowed to do that. They have had 40 cars parked in the street here, clogging up the street for 5 days now. I don't know what they're celebrating. Somebody coming of age, some event. It's in the first time it's happened. And nobody here is out there protesting in front of their house. Nobody's complaining. Nobody's calling them names. Nobody's saying anything. They are culturally 1,000% different than anyone around here is. They're not white bread, Middle East, or Anglo-Saxon, Protestants, which is most of the people around here. We do have some Muslims in the neighborhood, and we have these folks. And people get along with them just fine. I just don't like the smell of the food. Yeah. U.S. government looking for 100,000 tradesmen to build more submarines, welders, electricians. That may be true, John, but I'm sure we probably have them. Is there a sword hidden in a cane? I can't answer that question, Google. You have a point. The American ladies are going to eat this. What's this? Okay. They're eating the dogs, eating the cats. Yeah, like in Springfield. Alma. Alma. Look at that. Alma. Yeah, that's right. I said if I got to 100,000, I'd shave the beard, didn't I? Didn't I make that deal one time? look, I mean, okay, so if we get close to 100,000, I'm going to start being a politician. Well, I mean, I did promise I'd shave the beard if we got to 100,000, but I mean, I meant if I got there, within a time period. I meant if we got there in 2020 or 2021 or 2022. No. You must understand. I say, boy, I say. Well, the latest refugee bill is a piece of crap, Michael. That's why he doesn't have a chance going through. Change the goalpost. That's right. This time I said this is what we need to achieve it. Now it's over here. Now it's over here. Darty, the beard's going to go at some point. I mean, it's already come from my navel all the way up to here, and it keeps getting shorter. I'm starting to look old, folks. I mean, I'm a dead sexy, young-looking guy, much younger than my age. Yeah, can't be looking old. Tracy White, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, moving the goalpost. Come, Chris, shave that beard, I dare you. Yeah, I can blame. They made me shave my beard. Jan van Riebeck and Hendrik Verwoerd were responsible for my beard. Shut up, Arctic. I'm not old. You're drunk. Cape Historical Society, it must be a colored person or has interest in the history of colors, says, what happens to the Orlam Afrikaners and the original speakers of Cape Dutch? Well, the Orlams who live in Namibia, nothing happens to them because that's where they migrated. What happens to them and the regional speakers of Cape Dutch? What do you mean? You have Kapsa today. You have Afrikaans. I don't understand your question. Was Ibrahim Rasool right when he said Trump's... No, he's not right. That's ridiculous. Trump's not a racist. It's just stupid. That's just what liars and racists say. No. What's the basis for saying Trump's racist? Cape Historical Society, it looks like you're asking a real question. So what's the basis for saying Trump's a racist? I need somebody to tell me that. I've debunked this over and over again. And I'm not even a fan of Donald Trump. I voted for him, but I'm not a fan. Arctic is drunk and he can't type and he says I'm dead sexy and really young looking. Thank you for that, Arctic. I appreciate that. Beards are cool, says Istafak. Okay. Colonel shaves the beard. Well, that was the deal. That was the deal. Darty says you don't look old. Ooh, am I getting chatted up now? It's time for a little Luther Vandross. Easy on the Shakespeare. I'm not having any Shakespeare. Oh man, no. We need some Luther Vandross, man. Gotta get the mood just right. It is a Friday night. Luther Vandross. Yeah, Luther Vandross.
There's one.
So the Nepalese love goat. Yeah, I think they're Nepalese, folks. Yeah, I don't like that smell at all. Vandross, yeah, little Luther Vandross tonight. All right, where did the Pretoria ANC get money to pay for debt? I have no idea. I think Cape's point is along the line of being Afrikaner, but excluded for not being Caucasian. Well, I agree, like a boss studio, and I think that's unfair. And what have I said from the very outset on the 7th of February? That I would not have written the executive order in that fashion. I would not have just said Afrikaner. I would have defined Afrikaners. Or I would have said ethnic minorities. Or I would have said ethnic minorities that will be declared in a forthcoming policy, something like that. I would not have said. Yeah, but the bill that was put forward by Representative Troy Nails of Texas says Caucasian. I don't like that word. That's an offensive word. I'm not from the Caucasus Mountains. I'm not. If you want to call me white, that's fine. I'm not really white. I'm more pale, pink. But yeah, calling me Caucasian, I find that insulting. That's an insult to me. I've never liked that word. Super chats pay for this amazing content. Well, Tomahawk, there are no super chat. Well, there were a few earlier. Where is Bormaisi? Yeah. Bormaisi? Yes. Neil Potkeeter. Yep. Okay. Hannes Holzhaus. When I see the Colonel, he reminds me of the main character music video, Dance Monkey. Oh, please. Dance Monkey. Give me a break. Give me a break. Dance Monkey. Oh, that's definitely a copyright one there. Dance Monkey. Tones. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's she's dressed as a dude in the retirement facility. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I couldn't remember what that was. Well, that's a woman dressed as a dude. Not very convincing though. She's not very convincing as a dude. She's got a lot of miles on her though. Raggedy skin for her age. Yep. Tones and I. Dance with me, dance with me. Tones, Dance Monkey. Platinum cards are sexy to the girls. There's Garrett. Garrett, we were just talking about my pimp stick. This was a gift from Garrett. Garrett gave me my pimp stick, man. This is what I rail with when I'm in Congress. You're a liar, Trump, you're a liar. It's my pimp stick. Capes Point. Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, well, it's a long birthday, man. 5 days. Amazing how our national circus is trying to hide and deny that they're being exposed and trying to cover up. Thank you for your contribution. You're welcome, Rainier from Rendsburg. Economics grads back. So 3D chess is destroying the global economy, sending innocent people to Nicaragua and Supermax prison. Good luck defending the indefensible. Au revoir. Oh, are you done trolling, economics grad? You tried to pretend like you actually cared. Mal, thank you for 35 Rand. Destroying the world's economy. Nope. So under economics grad's view, apparently, I'm divining this. You have a chance to stay and respond. But according to economics grad, the world only works if the United States is taken advantage of. Only if countries can give us 30%, 40%, 50% tariffs and put barriers to our trade, preventing our Cadillacs and our Harley Davidsons from getting their economy. Only then are things good and just and wonderful. While the U.S. continues to go deeper and deeper in debt by giving money to the developing world that we don't have. Only then are things good. Is that your position, economics grad? How do you defend that? That's indefensible. That's indefensible. And sending people to Nicaragua and Supermax? No, it was actually, it was not Nicaragua, it was El Salvador, wasn't it? Anyway, whatever. Joe King, welcome. So, economics grad, you want to troll. Why are you going bye-bye? Nobody even said anything to you. Sorry to interview with, okay. All right, well, see, that's, again, the people come here late. So that was at 12:40. Elza Charles. No need to be disrespectful to my guest. If you don't like him, write to him. If you don't like Ethel Trout. Taking the bubbles out of champagne, says Sharon. Love Luther. What the fluff. Still my favorite. Yeah, Luther Vandross was awesome, man. Economics grad, are you still here? Did you actually leave? Oh, he's still here. No one wants terrible U.S. cars. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They want our money, too, don't they? They want our money. Nick, yes. Whom are you sharing that with? Not with me. I mean, I'm the one who's been telling you ever since I started learning Afrikaans, not telling you, but telling people since the 1980s that the majority of people who speak Afrikaans as a first language are not white. They're not white. Torque, thank you for your membership. No one wants terrible American cars. Really? Strange. We sell 35 million of them every year. 35 million, that's an exaggeration. We sell, 20 million cars probably. Yep. Yeah, Arctic apparently au revoir doesn't mean bye-bye. My French is a little rusty. C'est vraiment bizarre. Je pense que le français, quand on dit au revoir, on doit quitter et partir. Ça, c'est les choses quand quelqu'un dit au revoir. Parce que ça, c'est jusque la prochaine fois. Equachiao. Didn't the world sanction Mugabe as well? No, okay. But he went on like nothing's wrong. Well, ANC do the same. Well, there's a big difference between Zimbabwe and South Africa. The world didn't sanction Mugabe. The U.S., Canada, UK, a few other countries sanctioned Mugabe. And that's why he went to Asia. Because if the world had sanctioned him, he wouldn't have been able to go to Asia for his hospital treatments and his holidays and his shopping trips. And besides, it was so late in life that it didn't have a big impact on him. He had all his money squirreled away. He had all his luxuries there. Other people could get it for him. So it didn't hurt him so much. But the shock and awe of it happening overnight to ANC senior leaders will be devastating to their self-aggrandizement and self-enrichment. I'm not saying it would change anything, but yeah, and I'm also not calling for it. Again, I'm not calling for these things. Good morning, Linda. Yep. No one wants terrible cars as economics grad. You heard about the new private security? Yes, I have. Good old history. And this is another story that I'm letting percolate for a few days before I make a video and make myself look foolish. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Fark. John Deere makes amazing tractors. Boeing, well, until recently, made amazing aircraft. U.S. cars are a lot better than Chinese crap, of course, but he's just trolling, Arctic. For every asswipe, there are thousands generally appreciate. Well, thank you, Max Murray. I mean, there are tens of thousands, thankfully. Okay, American cars are great for value. I own 4 Jeeps and 3 Chryslers, all great vehicles. Sir Blythe. Thank you, 123EK XXX for subscribing. Yes, Sir Blythe, I've only ever owned 1 American car. 1 American car. 2, technically, but 1 was made in South Korea. Alma gave 35 Rand. I'm doing Wyatt Army rallies and having everyone I know subscribe. Wow, to infinity and beyond. To infinity and beyond. I better be careful. If I raise that hand a little bit higher, I might be accused of something. And I'll look like a Democratic politician. Always love American cars. Nothing beats American muscle. They make the best trucks. We do make the best trucks, no doubt about it. What about Ronnie Jackson? Yaku? You got Troy Nels. That's not how it's spelled, but yeah, and Ronnie Jackson. When do you foresee sanctions? I don't foresee them, Elsa. I don't see them. It's possible. Scatman. Okay, that's an interesting username. John Deere is the Boeing of the farming industry. Farmers can't service their equipment anymore. Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, if the U.S. does embargo trade with South Africa, it's going to be devastating to the agricultural industry, which relies on American stuff. New farm regulation, longer-term plan. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. It's not. It's part of a plan that's been in place for 30 years. Yep. Tomahawk says you're so nutsy. Well, thank you. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't. Almond Joy's got real milk chocolate. Crunchy nuts, too. Because sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. All right. Can't help sing Bob Marley's song, 3 Little Birds. 3 Little Birds. Oh, yeah, but I like that song when it's sung by, what's her name? It's from the UK. The mixed race. Oh, let me go to YouTube. Oh, what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. She does it so well. I love that video, too. Put the records on your shelf. Go put the records on. Go put a record on. Yeah, Corinne Bailey Ray. Yeah, Corinne Bailey Ray. Yeah. Oh, man. Corinne Bailey Ray. Let's go to her channel. She's got 340,000 subscribers. Like a Star. That's one of hers, too. Oh, interview them. Well, I got to get to them. It's Tom's time, buddy. What's that mean? Bring me vanilla rum and Coke every 10 minutes. Carry me to the room when I'm asleep. Yeah.
Star across my sky, just like
Corinne Bailey Ray. Yeah, she had a great album a few years back. Hershey's Chocolate. I'm not a Hershey's Chocolate fan. Love your channel, ex-South African. I live in Australia. Thanks, Basil Jacobs. Appreciate that. You think all the things... Oh, that, Tom. Thank you, Reg Dot. Okay. No Afrikaners are white, even the lightest skin. Okay, Echo Durban. Bailey Ray. Like a Star. Anyway, yeah, Corinne Bailey Ray. Echo Man Durban says, with due respect, no Afrikaners are white, even the lightest skinned Afrikaners a touch of tar brush, including myself, due to my grandfather. Well, Echo Man, I don't know who that comment's intended for. You didn't write it to me, but I'm also the person that has told you from the outset that the average Afrikaner in South Africa has 5 to 15% African DNA. That's average. Yep, that's just reality. People knock boots. Yep, it happens through history. Yep. Now, my DNA is all Scandinavian, Celtic, and Viking. Ha ha ha. That doesn't mean jack squat. Interesting, 1998, Mel Gibson, Val Kilmer, something happened in Hollywood. So I don't know what that's all about. My deepest dream, do you think all of the things happening now could escalate in a civil war? Well, you've already had a civil war. You had an insurrection in July 2021, and that was a dress rehearsal for what's coming. Yep, hopefully it won't happen. John Deere once failed making toilet paper. They tried putting a logo on the paper. As soon as they did that, so what are you talking about? I never heard about that. Alt says, I think currently his wife getting romantic here. Oh, because I played Corinne Bailey Ray? Yeah, she's great, man. They say Afrikaners are going to disappear. They're taking over the world. Yeah, well, Laura Luma apparently has done that. So we're going to talk about that if we ever get around to the news here. We've got good audience tonight, 599. It's now tomorrow. It's tomorrow morning. It's Saturday morning. We've got the Bulls on, folks, at 7:30. I think the game comes on my time. I'll be covering the Bulls on Rugby Ascendant. Let me just check on that. So that's going to be EPCR Rugby, and we're going to go to the Challenge Cup because they screwed up. They're not in the Champions Cup, and they are playing. 7:30 my time. Yeah, they're playing Bayonne. Okay. Bath won big time. Edinburgh beat the Lions. Yeah, I could barely stay awake in that game. It was terrible. Hopefully the Bulls will be better. See if they can advance, because I'm not sure the Sharks are going to make it. So, all right, we're over 600 now. Thank you for the subscribers and the viewers. Your Rasul person is back again. Yes, the new proposed private sector bill is two-pronged in nature. First, to make more money, and then to de-weaponize. Yep. We've got Native American heritage somewhere. You keep telling us that, Tomahawk. Do you reload 3.8 or what rifles do you like? U.S., I don't really talk about firearms. The one exception I'm going to make on that is the interview I did with my friend who's 86 years old, who has the rifle, the Italian rifle that was used to assassinate JFK. He has the same rifle he bought a few days after the assassination from the same dealer, and he's had it ever since. Not a real Trumper. Welcome to you. But I usually talk about weapons because that's YouTube. They're very difficult. They don't like you talking about weapons, and they've taken down gun dealers just because they didn't like them. They did nothing wrong. So you got to be careful about that. Willem Werner says, thank you for the updates. You're welcome. No rugby for me today. We'll be on a farm. Okay, be careful out there, Fred. Okay, half Scottish, half Irish born Southern, but moving back to my roots. Barbara says, okay. Bulls are funded by Patrice Motsepe. Yeah, he's one of the investors. That's correct. Too much European, 100% European. What's happening in Texas? I don't know about that story. Well, yes, it does. That's part of my argument. There is as much African as anyone else. The coloreds are African too. That's why the bigotry and racism directed against coloreds by the ruling party is so disheartening. They're as much African as any Nguni speaking, any Bantus. Yep. Okay, Buster, that's fine. Whatever theory you want to go with, that's fine. The forensic evidence doesn't agree with you, but that's fine. People believe anything they want. Really isn't germane. The point here is that I will be showing that video on my other channel. So, yeah, I'm trying to get an interview with Ronnie Jackson, trying to get an interview with Troy Nels, but really want to get with Ronnie Jackson. Too white to be African. Nope, you're not. I have lots of books on South African history, Linda. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Here's one on South African history. It's by John Labant, who is one of the foremost authorities on the Zulu. This is the Boer invasion of the Zulu Kingdom, 1837-1840. Pretty good book. Yeah, so there's a hold up a little bit longer. So I paid 297 Rand for this one. I should have waited. When I read something that's good, I highlight things. Look at that. It's a good book. This is a very good book. It isn't always complimentary to the Afrikaners, but I don't read things that are complimentary. I read history, and I write history. So thank you, Nick, for your membership. Welcome to the team. The Battle of Blood River, or Nkombe, on 16 December 1838 has long been regarded as a critical moment in the history of South Africa. It was a culminating victory by the land-hungry Boers who had migrated out of the British-ruled Cape and invaded the Zulu Kingdom in 1837. Well, they didn't invade the kingdom. I'm sorry, John. I'll disagree with you on that. They entered peacefully, and they sought to purchase land or to use land under the permission of the king. So I wouldn't call that an invasion. So many Afrikaners long acclaimed their triumph as a God-given justification for the subsequent dominion over Africans. By contrast, Africans celebrate the war with pride for its significance in their valiant struggle against colonial aggression. In this account, John Labant deals with it as even-handedly as possible with the warring sides in the conflict. In contrasting their military systems, he explains both victory and defeat in the many battles that marked the war. Crucially, he also presents a less familiar Zulu perspective explaining the political motivation, and that's why the book's valuable. Strategic military objectives and fissures in the royal house. This is the first book in English that engages with the war between the Boers and Zulu in its entire context, or takes the Zulu evidence into proper account. And I would agree with that. It's well done. Julie gave a super chat saying, apologies for saying Bosa voted against the VAT. I got it wrong. Look, I mean, I was reading those things off of my notes. So, I mean, I don't know. I could have gotten it wrong. It's no big deal. But thank you for the super chat. Dreekus, yeah. Tell my Dreekus here. Unfortunately, the Bantu history is only a history documented by the European. Prior to that, the Bantu have no documented history. Yeah, Buster, but you don't need written history to document the history of peoples. Historians, genealogists, ethnologists, linguists can trace the history. Archaeologists can trace the history. Thea Nell, thank you for the super chat. Ladies, get all the Cook Sisters, Tunnies, and Crochet Club to hit subscribe so we can see the Colonel's beard fall off by the end of April. April! Oh, no. It's not going to come off by the end of April. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Now, see, Bart Potgieter says, thanks for the interview with Action SA. I have a much clearer picture of them. Ethel just seemed like a spiteful ex-girlfriend. Okay, but that's your honest view. That wasn't personal. That's 14th generation Afrikaner are more South African than second, third generation newcomers. Well, like a boss, I'm a 17th generation American, so we're the OGs. Been here since the beginning. What do you call a Benoni girl in a white tracksuit? The bride. Etienne, it's funny. Thanks for the okay. I think the smaller parties voted with the ANC as they know the DA will leave the GNU and positions will open up for them. Yeah, but they don't have enough. It's going to take a lot of work to get to that 50 plus 1. You're losing 22% when the DA leaves, if they leave. Excellent read is Bulala by Coin Elgin, written records history. Okay. All right, I've got a bunch of them. The one that came recently, where's that at? Shoot. It's stacked somewhere else, but it's a huge book that someone said I should get. In Melbourne, I have seen South African flags flying at pro-Hamas rallies. Really? That's interesting. The Rousseaus arrived in 1688. Yeah, that's only 67 years after we arrived in America. Heidi Waring, DA best to leave the union aim would just take all success for next election. Read some. I'm currently working in private security, and we cover approximately 100 farms. Unofficially, most of those do not even allow saps on their land due to mistrust. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Ken Monroe has the photos. Oh, I don't doubt you, Ken. I don't doubt you. I wasn't questioning whether it's true. I just said it's interesting. Yeah, I don't doubt you at all, man. I don't doubt you at all. ASA is a new girlfriend for the husband who beats his wife. Wow. Is Pierre Orban here? Welcome. Anyway, I never did get to the news, folks. I had a dream. We got 639 people here. It's a Saturday. People are just chilling. What did Pierre say? Yeah, they got mad when Dricus wore a Trump shirt. I found it hilarious. Good morning, Dragon Lord. How are you today? I did have news I wanted to get to today. I went to all this trouble. So, folks, now this is the problem when the state controls prices. You are not going to benefit from this. But in theory, you should be paying cheaper prices of petrol this week. But you won't be because the government controls price. You're going to have to wait for it to catch up. But the price of oil has slid as a consequence of Trump's sanctions. Or not his sanctions, his tariffs. Well, the Wall Street Journal, look at this. Brent crude went from $72 a barrel. It's down to $66 a barrel. It dropped to almost 64.50, but climbed back up to 66. So it's down by $6 a barrel. Look at that. Oil is dropping, which means energy is cheaper, which means inflation should slow down. Heidi says, you're a great journalist. Thank you for keeping us informed. You're very welcome, Heidi. And myself, well, I'm tired. Actually, it took a lot of energy to get up and do this broadcast tonight because I was really wiped out. I mean, the past 24 hours has been incredible what's been going on. Ethel Traub was going to end up with egg on his face. Perhaps, Basel, that's a good point. But see, that's a fair statement. That's not a personal attack. You clearly do not know the aunties around here. You are the one who batted your eyes. End of April. Oh, challenge extended. Challenge accepted. Oh, end of April. I have to shave the beard off. Really? What if I just make it shorter? Cheaper energy, less poverty. Love the channel. Exactly, Grumpy Camper. That's exactly what happens. He said, folks arrived in 68 mine 700. He wins. We'll be handing over my property as per expropriation logic, says Isterfuck. Yeah, less money for Iran, too. Thea Nell says, no, I don't know the Tunnies. Yeah, so let's see. So the challenge extended. I know where Arctic lives, too. So both sides of the Atlantic. Almeida died in Cape Town. We've been bleeding for this country since. He was killed by the Khoi Khoi. Yeah, it wasn't in the 1400s. That's correct. 1487 or 1489, something like that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, don't speak French again. You're going to make some oaks in Biki gay. Ça, c'est vraiment bizarre. Comment est-ce qu'on peut devenir homosexuel à cause de langue on parle? Ça, c'est vraiment bizarre. Je ne suis pas d'accord avec l'accusation. Like the Nazis, ANC will also blame the Afrikaner for the VAT increases. Indeed. Patrick is given a super chat of $5 Australian. His last 4 days in Australia. I thought you came back already. Being 50% poor, I wanted my land back. Some brown blood likely just cannot trace those lines. Dead end rural Cape. Hey, Jan says, the thing I like about you, you're committed to what you do. You're old school, and I think you deserve a break. Take a day off. Well, I will, guys. I already said that. So next weekend, I'm going to prepare some videos, but don't expect to see live broadcasts from me this coming weekend. Not now, but after the consulting is done next week. I've got a project I've got to work on. I've got to work on this project next weekend, so I probably won't be doing any live streams. I don't think I'll even be doing any rugby next weekend, so it'll be the first break I've had in a while. But I won't be taking a break. I just won't be putting videos up for that period. I've got other things I've got to do, so just heads up. So don't be freaking out. Where's the Colonel? Where's the Colonel? What happened to the Colonel? Vlam says 350 Rand. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much for that. What's the challenge? Oh, Louis, one of the ladies said that if I get to 100,000 subscribers, I had promised to cut my beard off. That's an old promise from years ago. And in response, I said, wasn't the deal that if it got to 100,000 by the end of 2021, I would cut the beard? Didn't happen. 2022, didn't happen. So are you going to hold me to that? I have to shave my beard when I get to 100,000. Yeah. Washing this beard. Yeah, that is a good book. Yep. Heard someone referring to South Africa's political system being a paratocracy. Ooh, that's good. I haven't used that term before. A parasiteocracy. There you go. Fingers crossed the oil price will reflect this side. Most likely we will see that. I believe we won't have a lot of time in the sun. Yeah. If Europe is taken over by the Muslims, the future of wokeism and LGBT looks very bleak. Oh, it does look bleak, whether it's taken over by those folks or not. Tom Walk, no, it's okay. Well, I'll try to, but I've got travel, so I'll just give you a heads up. I've got to go somewhere next week. I'll be traveling for over the weekend, and maybe I'll pop in and try to do short ones on the road, but I won't be doing my regular live stream. So probably I'll just do a couple of them, just keep people up on things, okay? So anyway, yeah, but I mean, look, I've got to take care of this project. It's very important. I think you're going to like the project, so I'll let you know about it. Not the real Trumper. You like history like me, define born Afrikaner. Okay, we've done that before. Not a real Trumper. So the mods can have the week and get drunk. The weekend, not the week. Yeah, parasitocracy sounds very good. Beautiful story of how Cyrus the Great was selected to eventually become king and beat Babylonia. That is an interesting story. We love the beard, says Lewis. Okay, well, not everybody does. Steve Newbold says, just tuned in, cold and wet, raining cats and dogs. Are you eating the cats? Are you eating the dogs? There's Pierre Orban. And thank you all for the super chats that are coming in. Yeah, that's right. U.S., I said that a few years back when they sold their reserves. They sold it to BE Company, and now there's no oil in the tanks. They're finding out there's no strategic reserve. That's what I predicted a few years ago. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Not a surprise. 680 people currently here on a Saturday morning. S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y. Hey, hey. A Saturday night. Bay City Rollers, man. Remember that? Bay City Rollers. First Viceroy of India. Well, I have an ancestor that was a Viceroy of India. That's correct. He's from, his wife was an American from about an hour from here in Western Maryland. And she married him. And Lord Curzon. Lord Curzon is a distant relative of mine. Let me see if I can see the relationship real quick. So ancestry. Lord Curzon. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, I got to get to my tree. Trees. Oh, show me the tree, man. Go to tree. There we go. Okay, 26,856 people in my tree. 26,856. Now, I want to find someone. So where's the search button? They keep moving everything. Where's the search button in this thing? Damn it. I don't want to invite people. I want to find somebody. They just keep making this more complicated. Ancestry used to be so much better. Oh, here we go. Find in tree. There we go. Curzon. Lord Curzon. George Nathaniel. I think that's Lord Curzon, isn't it? Well, take me to it, man. George Curzon. Okay. He is the husband of my third cousin. Yep. Married to Mary Victoria Leiter, and she's my ancestor. Yep. So Mary Victoria Leiter, born 1870, died 1906, rather young actually. Her husband was George Nathaniel Curzon, Lord Curzon, the Viceroy of India. Yep. So here you go. Here's a picture of Lord Curzon. Now, he's not a blood relative of mine. He married into my blood family. But let me just do a Google check on him. Former leader of the House of Lords, first Marquis Curzon of Kettleston, known as Lord Curzon, was a British statesman, conservative politician, explorer, and writer who served as Viceroy of India from 1899 to 1905 and Foreign Secretary from 1919 to 1924. Born in Derbyshire, into an aristocratic family, educated at Eton. And he married my relative, Mary Leiter. And then he married Grace Dugan in 1917. But he had Irene Curzon, 2nd Baroness of Ravensdale, Lady Cynthia Mosley, and Lady Alexandria Metcalfe. Only daughters. Anyway, yeah, Lord Curzon. Yep. There you go, folks. Strange world, huh? But there was a time in the late 19th century when wealthy Americans married their daughters off to British nobility. Because the British nobility were bankrupt. They couldn't pay their taxes. They had to get money, so they married American women to keep their titles and keep their money and get their money. So thank you, Vimgood. I'll keep it up. Okay? Verna Alexander Kuhn says, recently got an opportunity to immigrate and work in Netherlands, and it fell through. Weirdly, I'm relieved. Is copy here? Oh, there's Lewis with a 140 Rand super sticker. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate the 140 Rand super sticker. I missed that. It didn't come up. Lord Box is on. How'd I miss it? Kevin Nicklin's here. What's going on, man? Winemakers. Well, there's some whiners. I don't know about winemakers. I'm a Boer, also an African, but I'm white and speak Afrikaans. Definition of Boer. Are you a farmer, Madiba's Dream? Because you're not a farmer. Some people say you're not a Boer. I'm not saying that. My boys wanted to do the Two Oceans, but decided rather to do the Comrades. Oh, the Comrades, that's brutal, man. There's copy. No, he didn't copy. No, if you're talking about Zelensky, that 51% platinum mine, that's fake news. There's no proof that that's true. Most don't realize it, but oil as a raw material constitutes basically 70% of all production daily functions. Oh, well, Mr. QB, along those lines, most people think that oil simply goes into the engine of your car as petrol or gasoline. No, it's lubricant. It's used in medicine. It's used in plastic. It's used in food production. Petroleum is used in so many things. And without petroleum, we are screwed in the modern world. There are many things that don't have substitutes for it yet. Well, I've always called them a kleptocracy. Captain Edward Smith of the Titanic. Oh my goodness, Sir Blythe. He went down with the ship. The French Huguenots to the USA. I don't know any books. There probably are some out there, but French Huguenots to America is a subject I haven't studied very much. I've studied Tiffany Lowe. Thank you for subscription. I've studied the French Huguenots to South Africa, of course, extensively, and the French Huguenots to Berlin. But beyond that, I haven't spent much more time. Of course, the history of the French Huguenots. When they ask to prove we're Afrikaners, I will let my wife speak, and when they say prove you can fit in, I will speak. Reno says, I've been invited to the embassy for an interview. Cool. A lot of people are sending me messages. I'm way behind on that. Maybe tomorrow I catch up, but I've got to work tomorrow on taxes. Also, my raspberry patch, because it's starting to grow, I've got to put more soil in it, clean the weeds out, kill off the dead ones, and put some new raspberry plants in. So I've got a busy Saturday. Also, we have David Root on the channel in about 11 hours. The South African economist will be joining me, and we'll be talking about the implications of all these potential threats to South Africa's economy because of what Trump is doing with tariffs and South Africa's position. Went back on all the lines and have 3 lines tied to royalty. French, German, even Israeli. I don't have the Israeli. Bee Farm. Hey, morning to you, Vanessa. Why do I think? Well, it's just happenstance. He makes his announcements about South Africa on Friday. It's just happenstance. British names, speak Afrikaans. I recently found out my ancestors were actually Vikings. Yep, Madeep, same here. I have Viking ancestors. I'm warm, folks. I got to take this hoodie off. Hang on. It's too warm in here. Oof. Temperature says 21 behind me, but I'm cooking. I am cooking, even though it says 21. That's not how I feel. I don't feel 21. And this T-shirt is going way up. Let's get it down. Woo! Stripper chat. For Ronaldo's favorite stripper chats. Whew. So this T-shirt is a disappointment. This is a Woolies t-shirt for like, I think I paid 40 Rand for this bad boy. And the collar just keeps coming down. I picked this up at Woolies on my last trip to South Africa. I got 2 of them at the Victoria and Alfred waterfront. I needed t-shirts, and the collars is so loppish, as we say in German. Super chat, stripper chat. Now the lady's going to start talking cock. 1 to unknown. How screwed are we? Is their honest opinion. Akronis Wolf, I think right now, South Africa, if I'm honest, and let's see what Davi Root has to say. Yana Furry, thank you for your membership. Let's see what Davi has to say. I would say that the ANC, on a scale of 1 to 10, is screwed. But it depends what happens to the rest of the world. If the rest of the world becomes a diversion for Trump and not South Africa, it could be mitigated. But if we sort out the tariffs with Canada and Mexico and the European Union pretty quickly, which I think we will, if we sort that all out, then South Africa will become a focus. If that's the case, it's 8 out of 10 screwed for the ANC. For South Africa, it's 7 out of 10. Yeah, I think it's bad news. I don't like V-necks. I don't like V-necks. Nope. Didn't know a South African who happens to be white in America, I would be an American who happens to be white. Exactly. And Pierre says 7 on the Gefukta scale. They said beard off, not shirt off. Okay, Kevin. Sorry about that. How are your parents, Kevin? Pierre Rousseau. Take it off, take it off. No. Maybe 10 years ago when I was more buff. I'm not so buff right now. Not so buff right now. Not going to do that. Anyway. I'm not a farmer. I would definitely know how to plant a potato, but I'm definitely a boar. Madiba, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said some would say that. Look, when I started doing this broadcasting 5 years ago, after I left active service in the military, and I was no longer constrained to what I could say, and I got actual free speech that I've been defending for 40 years, I could actually exercise it myself. When I started this channel, the original channel, and then moved to this one because the other one was censored and then restored later, I started talking about this. And the first thing I noticed right away is Afrikaners and Boers. Oh, so it all started with Giselle. You guys know Giselle, right? Giselle is my friend who sings, and we've had Giselle on the program before. She sings songs. So here you go. Here's, this just to remind people, this is Giselle. So that's Giselle. I think many of you know who Giselle is. Well, when I started promoting Giselle's music in 2020, and I called her a Boermeisie, people said, she's not a Boermeisie. I said, what do you mean she's not a Boermeisie? She's not a Boermeisie. I said, she's an Afrikaner. She grew up on a farm in Grootfontein, and she identifies as a Boermeisie. So how is she not a Boermeisie? Well, she's not from South Africa. What? That's your definition? You can only be a Boermeisie if you are an Afrikaner in South Africa? I mean, and that just made it pretty evident to me. What I've always known is this infighting in the Afrikaner and Boer communities. So you will get people who say to you, not me, but you will get people say to you that where'd your thing go? Did that chat going that fast? Yeah, Madiba's dream. You will get people say that you're not a Boer. I didn't say you're not a Boer, but there were people say that. Okay, to me, being a Boer is a state of mind. Being an Afrikaner is linguistic and culturally something. And being a Boer has the same language inside there. Yes, the t-shirt is made in China. You're right, Cappy. Well, it's probably made in Vietnam. Yeah, Lesotho is sending people over to try to get that 50% tariff taken off. Indonesian, want to tell the Indonesian people we are from South Africa. Their next question is why, but you're black. Lesotho makes Levi jeans and export to America. Yes, they do, Tom Hawk. You must have missed my program yesterday when I told you how many jeans they make. One company makes 440,000 Levi's per month. That means over 5 million pairs of Levi's are shipped to America from Lesotho every year. That's 5 million pairs that aren't made in America. It's a lot of jobs that are lost here. Paul Mills, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. The first Van der Merwe married a slave from Benin, so there goes our theory that Van der Merwe are pure whites. Well, that wasn't the only Van der Merwe that came there, Joshua. Joshua. It wasn't the only Van der Merwe. Pierre Rousseau was with me at Military Academy. I can't see a profile on a small screen. Okay. South African men are rated by the figure. If you have a six-pack, you're doomed to the gym the rest of your life. With a keg, we get the Boermeissies. They like beer. Okay, well, I've always been thin, but I'm starting to get kind of a little chieftain belly there because I've been exercising. Oh, you had a strong clothing industry, yeah, but that was also artificial. It was because of sanctions, And because of isolation, that's why he had a strong clothing industry. And then it carried over because of the multi-fiber agreement. But when the multi-fiber agreement expired in 2006, I think it was, hundreds of thousands of textile jobs left Southern Africa overnight. South Africa, Lesotho, especially Swaziland, Botswana, boom. They just decamped. All these Taiwanese and Chinese-owned companies that were there getting an artificial advantage shipping and getting around quotas, because if you shipped it from Asia, you were limited how much you could ship into, and there's a quota. And same in the U.S., an artificial barrier. It limited how much you could ship into these countries. Well, you could get around that by producing the cloth in a third country with material from one place, and then you put it together and you ship it to a third place. So, Ronnie Lamole is a byproduct of World Economic Young Leaders Bankrupting Program. ANC is aligned with the European faction of the world order. Don't expect the ANC to care about any U.S. sanctions. Yeah, okay. What's your point? No disagreement. Stock market crash over $10 trillion. That's not a crash. The Great Reset is underway. Nah, relax. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So Arthur Conan Doyle wasn't particularly nice about the Boers, or was he? I don't recall. I did know at one time. Cook sisters. If you buy Levi's in South Africa, you pay 200% of the price. Exactly. Well, look what you have to pay for import tariffs on cars to South Africa. It's insane. Used to make great clothes in Natal. We used to employ so many mamas. Yep. Are you going to be called African Americans? You can call it whatever you want, man. Tomahawk says, your knowledge is way beyond my knowledge of what happened in my own country. Well, it's way beyond my knowledge of what most Americans know about America, or about Britain, or about Schlesien, or Pommern, Ostpreußen, Sudetenland, Siebenburgen, Südtirol. The list goes on and on. Now, the stock markets aren't crashing. They're correcting. They're way overpriced. Stock market has been on a sugar high because Trump came in office, and it's just coming back to ground. It's fine. So, yeah. Oops, that crashed. My tab crashed some time ago when I sat up. Let me get it again. Live. Come on. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Okay. It crashed before it even loaded that time. That's weird. Wow, YouTube has got some serious challenges here. That tab crashed before it even loaded. So let me try to load it again, see if it loads. Okay, now it's loading. Wow. So we are now, namaste. 171 away from 70,000 subscribers. Wow. Close. 764 people here. Wow, folks. What's going on? You all must be bored on a Saturday morning. No, Madiba. I didn't say you were saying it either. I'm just, we're having a chat here. You have limited text space. So I'm trying to. Channel is growing at some pace, almost double in 2 months. Well, Jay Gamer, my channel on December 31st was 20,300 and some subscribers. 20,300. Now we're at almost 70,000. That was January 1st, December 31st. Yep. It was 22,000 on January 20th when Trump came in office. 22,000. So now it's almost 46,000 more than it was then. So that's triple what the size was. More than triple. If Lesotho gets a cut in tariffs, will become a key maker. South Africa will have to export their products via Lesotho. Yep. Yeah, okay. Interesting what is now going on between South Africa, USA and Iran. Neither country can really afford a full-out war. Iran is not easy to prey. Well, I mean, Iran is an easy target. We could destroy them overnight if we wanted. We could absolutely, utterly destroy Iran, but that's not our goal. We're not trying to hurt Persians. South African-born American. Gotcha. My best friend is a Suti who married an Afrikaans girl. They're all Americans now. Yeah, exactly. It's a crazy world. Love this morning's show the best. Well, thank you, Ricky. Thank you so much. Love your news and chatting with you. Yeah, well, that's why we have the night when it's not really about the news. We do talk about the news. We talk about issues. But one thing I haven't done tonight is answer all these silly refugee questions. People are taking a break from that. Yep. Great community. We're not bored. We're just in good company. Oh, grumpy camper. I love that. You know, it's late. I should go to bed, but I'm hanging out with you guys. I'm hanging out here. And it ain't for super chat revenue. That's for damn sure. Although some good chat revenue came in early. It's just to chat with you guys. Watching with Athotrop, I sense at times you are a bit tense about his rambling. Antoinette, don't take anything from my demeanor in that interview. Let me explain so that you guys understand what was happening there. So I asked Athol Trollop immediately after the vote, because when he's been in Parliament before, I said, look, I know Athol Trollop. I get along with him very well. I think he's a good person. I appeared on a panel with him in Somerset West in 2022, and ever since then, I've had him on several times. So and I respect him. I don't understand why he's in Action SA. He said why, but I still don't understand it, but that's his prerogative. He can be a member of any political party he wants. I'm a registered Republican, and I'm not happy with Republicans, but that's just the way life is. Anyway, so don't read anything from my demeanor in that interview, because remember, this is what was going on. I asked him to come to give me an interview. He said he would do it. Then he was on the news there over South Africa. I couldn't get him for a few days. We agreed to try it on Friday. Well, I was sending him messages late at night after my stream and things, and he agreed to come on Friday morning, his time, which would have been last night, Thursday night for me, around this time, around 1:30. I said 2 o'clock in the morning, so it would be 7:30, 8 o'clock your time. And he agreed. I have to go back and see if I mistyped that message. So I think I might have, because then he said something about, obviously I'm not getting much sleep. So I must have said something confused him. So I was scheduled to do him this morning before I went to the dentist. I went to the dentist and it cost me $1,426. $1,400. Thank you, Ignis Gia, for subscribing. $1,426 is what I wrote out of my checkbook today to pay for my damn teeth. 1,426 times 20. That is 28,000 Rand was my dental bill this morning. As a veteran, a combat veteran, I get no dental care, absolutely no dental care. It's an atrocious situation. Anyway, that's for dental care this morning. I had a filling for a tooth that was damaged, and I had a temporary crown put on for a root canal I had a couple years ago. Para1 just gave 88 Rand. A legitimate question. If a Boer Afrikaner gets refugee status, will he then be called an African American? You can be called whatever you want. I'm not a European American. You just become an American. Well, you're South African until you become an American. So anyway, so back to the demeanor with Athol Trollop. So I was scrambling, covering all that. So we didn't do our interview this morning, and then I forgot to remove the Zoom link. And with Zoom, if you start another session and the old one's up there, people can't join it. And I forgot about that. So then I went off to do my dental and the drill. Got the dental work done. Left there, made a video en route to the consulting. They knew I was coming late. Did my consulting, did a live broadcast, tried to see if I could get out of there, because we pretty much finished all our tasks, and it's not about training to time, it's training to standard. So we met the standard because my colleague and I had gotten the work done early. We put so much effort into it, and so we were ahead of the game. So they allowed us to leave a little bit early. And so I rushed home, and I'm sent a voice note to Athol saying, hey, all right, it's almost 2 p.m. my time. I'm out of here. I've been released. I'm going to get home. Can we do this at 2:30? It's about 40 minutes. That gives me time to get home and get set up. Also, at the same time, I had to get there's a lot of mechanic. The streaming software is one thing. The Zoom software is another thing. Switching between Rugby Ascendant and this channel. Got to do all that. Sign in and out of these things. Get it all right. I've got to make a banner for the rugby game. I've got to download the lineups, which I haven't done because I didn't even thought I was going to be able to do the game. I thought I wouldn't get home. I do all that. I'm doing all that and then getting him on. And then when he came on, he couldn't get in the room. And I couldn't figure out why. So it took me a couple minutes. I lost about 5 minutes to start from the interview. So then finally I was able to go back and say, aha, I have to cancel the old one. I cancel it. Then he was able to get in. Then I interviewed him. He agreed to a 10-minute interview, and we had a 22-minute interview. So Athol, when I give him the microphone, he's not shy about using it, so he has to get his point across. So that interview went longer than I expected. So don't read anything into my demeanor, because I don't want to say stressed, but I was pressed for time and trying to do multiple things simultaneously. Yeah, also at the same time, I was curious how my videos were doing because it's been an epic day. So anyway, that's what was going on there. So don't read anything into it, folks. There's nothing to read into it. It was Antoinette that asked the question. So there's nothing to read. I don't think I understand his explanation of a couple things, but that's fine. It's his prerogative. But politicians, and he is a politician. He's a good guy, but he's a politician. Lesotho scrambled to put a delegation together. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mentioned that already. Don't open up that can of worms. Today is a free chill, no tents. Oh, yeah, Rich, gotcha. Okay. Now requires submission of statistics form that obliges new purchasers of real estate, including farms, to disclose race. Yes, Nico, I'm aware of that. Talk about a political party that's absolutely obsessed with race to use as a weapon against people. They're worse than the National Party. All right, Antoinette, have a good appointment at 8 a.m. Sounds like you're a real estate agent. The name of the judge that declared Julius Malema's chant is legal should be yeah, probably. Somebody died before you were born. Isterfark, is that your father? Died in Angola. Okay, thank you for the super chat, Pero. Thanks, Antoinette. So what land did the Bantu and the Nguni own prior to settlers' arrival? Well, Buster, there was no formal land ownership or tenure that we know of today in the modern sense. And There weren't title deeds issued to things. There were nomadic groups of people, cattle herders who moved from place to place. And there were no Bantu-speaking peoples, no Nguni-speaking peoples in southern Africa before about 1,600 years ago, when they migrated down the Rift Valley over 1,000 years and finally made it across the Zambezi and then across the Limpopo, and where they encountered the Khoi and San groups and displaced them. Sometimes they intermixed with them. Sometimes they chased them into the desert. So, yeah. I'll pull a tooth rather than crown it. Well, Tomahawk, that's you. These are my teeth, and I want to keep them. All right? Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, the answer is none. They weren't there. Yep. If we go back 100,000 years ago, there were no Khoi and San. There were other hominids there. So, Paro's laughing about something. Oh, Kai's laughing about something, Paro said. Johan Pratt, what is a checkbook? Well, we still have checks in this country. Almost gave my first thumbs down to one of your videos. Okay, well, Weatherman, that's a shame. Why would you do that? I took the time to make it. Echo Man's still here. He says, you have so many viewers from South because we do not have much comedy this early. Now, I'm pretty sure that was an insult. Yeah, I plug in for a charge. That's what I do. Yeah. So you just plug me into, I get a USB-C connection right here. Dad's medal's mounted on a photo of him while in the Army. Okay. Well, I will be America and have nothing to do with South Africa, says Madeline. Okay. Any new songs? Well, I played the one earlier. Yeah, dental work. How exciting not. But I'm not afraid of the dentist. My dentist is really cool. He's really cool. I like him. And his rates are decent, but it's just that dental care is that expensive. It's just outrageous. I mean, they've got to pay for insurance, the equipment, all the other stuff. Yeah, their staff. Kevin Bannister gave it 28 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. Mashaba Worms enters troll. Yeah, yeah. He was a great mayor in P. He was, absolutely. Yep, that's where I first heard of him. Majority of breadwinners were women. We used to export to Bond Street, Harrod, Seville. That China killed that industry. Well, no, copy what happened. It wasn't China. It was the multi-fiber agreement. Look it up. The multi-fiber agreement expired, I think, in 2006, and that's what destroyed your textile industry because you had an artificial advantage. And the Chinese are the ones that made your textile industry so successful, and the Taiwanese. And then they took all their money and left overnight because they no longer needed you to get around quotas. Yep. Johannes Brandt, lawyer and former president of the Orange Free State, is my great-great-grandfather. There you go. Whoops. Chat got ahead of me there again. Charles Boyson's back. Hey, man, just got up. Let me tell you something. South Africa will rather burn in hell before the ANC government gives up power. You're dealing with the devil here. Well, we'll see what happens, man. U.S. says action is saying he's got a duck there. The African Americans have an issue with us being called that. Elon Musk was once an African American. Well, before Elon Musk, there was always John Kerry's wife, Teresa Heinz Kerry, who was born in Mozambique, and she called herself an African American. And they didn't attack her because her husband's a Democrat. What rugby's on today? Well, it's the European Professional Club Rugby Championship, the Challenge Cup and the Champions Cup. But the Champions Cup means nothing to South African rugby fans because none of our teams qualified. The Sharks made it so that they got relegated to the Challenge Cup. The Bulls made it so they got relegated, and the Stormers only won one of their 4 games, so they wound up out. So they're not in it. So the round of 16 started today, and the Lions looked pathetic. They were terrible. They were beaten badly. It could have been much worse. So they lost in Edinburgh, and they lost 3 games on the trot. 2 in URC, 1 in the EPCR. So the Lions are out of the Challenge Cup now. That leaves the Bulls, who are relegated to the Challenge Cup round of 16 in the morning, playing at Bayonne in France. So hopefully they'll do well. I have the lineup here. Printed out. That was the other thing to do. I was putting lineups together while I was editing after I did this interview with Athol Trollope. So the Bulls have Devin Williams, Sergio Peterson, David Creel, Harold Forster, Stravino Jacobs. Let's see how many people leave the chat. Usually when I start talking about rugby, the numbers go down. 787 here now. If you can be patient, I won't be on rugby for long. Isaac Borger is the scrum half. That's interesting. Keegan Johannes, the fly half. Marcel Kotziak, Janis Kirsten, Marco van Staden, Eskom, JF van Heerden, Reinhard Ludwig, Vilko Lo, Armand van der Merwe, and Sifiwe Mantazima. Off the bench, Jan-Hendrik Vezels, Alutu Chakweni, Mornay Smith, Ron Nordkia, Cameron Hannekem, Ambrose Papia, Johan Gussen. Johan Gussen's back and Stedman Huns. And so that is that. And then on Sunday, the Sharks play. So there you go. Oh, we actually gained 4 people. That's interesting. Okay, so there you go. ANC's narrative of land ownership is ridiculous as a homeless person sleeping under a bridge claiming he owns land on the bridge and endlessly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I agree. Werner Alexander Cohen, is this just the darkest before the dawn? Is there something more sinister going on with the private security bill? That's very sinister, that bill. Yeah, please like and subscribe. We got 774 likes. 7,000 people have tuned into this, and we don't have 1,000 likes. I'm going to get to the topic was in hand earlier in just a second, talk about all the bad things that have happened for the ANC this week. It's crazy. ANC killed job creation. They did. They did. Hey, Colonel, the wife just informed me that Rossi Erasmus is checking into our guest house today. Any questions for him? Well, is he really checking your guest house? Ask him if I can have an interview. Herman Lowe, if you're not joking, you're serious, ask him if I can get an interview. I would love to interview Rossi Erasmus. I would love to interview him. Get me an interview with him. All right? This channel is the new days of our lives. I just hope I'm not going to eat burnt food tonight. Pete Snayman. No, man. This is Zibin Delan. Welcome to Zibin Delan. Igoli. Your grandpa served in World War II. He died in our farm before I was born. Oh, gotcha, Isterfark. Pete Botha. Thank you very much for that. He must have been a smoker. Okay. Yannicka Reinke says, good morning. My husband said that after Trump, America can send us back to South Africa. Is that true? No, they can't, Yannicka. Oh, my goodness. Here, now the refugee questions are coming. I've talked about this endlessly. Your status doesn't get changed by the president. Now, before you say, wait a second, Chris, you're wrong. By the way, I've asked my colleague who sponsored Ukrainians in the refugee program here in America. He's a sponsor for 2 Ukrainian families. I asked him if he would talk to one of them and asked him if they would be willing to do an interview. I said they can do it off camera. The camera will be on me. They can sit across the room. We'll just talk. And I said, can I get them on camera? Because I want them to relate their experiences of what it's like to be a refugee. Now, 200,000 Ukrainians are having their status removed. They had temporary protected status. That's not refugee status. That's a category of protection that's allowed. So they're treated like refugees, but they're not really refugees from that standpoint. They're given temporary status because there's an urgent need. So those 200,000 people are looking at potentially being sent back to Ukraine. But what Trump is offering is refugee status. The only way that goes away is if the situation in the place you came from changes and there's no longer a threat. So let me tell you, if we gave refugee status to homosexuals from Syria, do you think that the Muslim community of Syria would ever stop persecuting gays and dropping off of roofs? No. So they're going to be here forever. Again, people who come here never leave. The Ukrainians aren't going anywhere. Trump can remove their status. They'll take it to court. Then they'll be hung up in court for years and they won't go anywhere. You're not going anywhere. If you come here, the Democrats won't send you home. It's not going to happen. Relax. I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine if the United States let in 50,000 Afrikaners that came here, they gave up everything for their lives, came here, and then we have a new administration, they say, no, because you're white, you're going home, and they send you back to South Africa? No, that would be an own goal of unbelievable proportions. They can encourage you to leave, but they can't make you leave. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So relax. The Liberians, and this is an example I give all the time. Liberians came here in 1990 on a 3-year protected status. They're still here. 35 years later. 35 freaking years later, they're still here. And most of them haven't even bothered to become American citizens. That's why they need their damn status renewed all the time, because they're too useless to become Americans. They like being Liberians and complaining about Liberia and living here and making money in America and living high on the hog, driving Chevrolets, cars apparently that Echo doesn't like. Yeah, so anyway, relax, Yannicka. No one leaves. Show me the refugees who've been deported from America and had their status rescinded. Somebody show me that. I'd like to know who they were. Kevin, welcome to you. Yeah, it's the Trek 2.0. There's an Afrikaans farmer, has a channel, been working in USA for 5 years for special visas. Yeah, I can if you'd like. Tom Hulk says for 28,000 tooth fairy can have a tooth. No. No false teeth. Nope. These are my teeth, man. This is all me, baby. And a little bit of a couple of crowns. Where is Spangenberg? Wow. Welcome for this. Thank you for the description. I'm used to being blamed for things I had no part in, but the current climate feels like I'm reaching a boiling point. Yep. We are hominids. I will be an American and have to be loyal to the flag. Here you go. Still like to know how they crossed the Zambezi with all the snakes and crocodiles. Well, they let the infirm cross first, and while the crocodiles were eating the infirm, the rest of them scurried across. Haven't had a checkbook in 15 years. Oh, I still use checks. In fact, I filled one out incorrectly today. Thumbs down was only because Ethel. Well, shame on you. Give me a thumbs down. At least we know you won't have toothless grin when we make you shave your beard. Well, you got a long way to go there, sweetheart. You got a long way to go to get me to 70,000. We are at 69,000. I mean 100,000, not 70,000. We're at 69,861. So we haven't even got to 70,000. You're talking about 100,000. We got a ways to go. Michael Mark says, I was born on planet Earth, so it all belongs to me. Exactly. It's mine. It's mine. It's all mine. Izzy, Forever Lace and Chrome. Will you do a video on the new security companies? I probably will if I have time this weekend. But I have other things I have to do. Remember, next weekend I'm not going to be available to do stuff, so I'll work on it. Colonel's like the Burmeises that's not hitting the like button. They say the Colonel broken. Christo, shame on you. Hollywood star Jean-Claude Van Damme is facing allegation of human trafficking. What? No, Yana, not really. Just getting your paperwork in order. Taking the questionnaire that I put out there in the groups and, using it as a basis to collect all your information you might be asked. Thoughts on EFF March on Irania. Russell Keach, if they actually find Irania, I'll be impressed. It's in the middle of nowhere, man. Stop training the Ukrainians to training cost tax. Oh, I agree, Holden Caulfield. Stop spending the money there. Hildegard Hartig says, thanks as always. You're welcome, Hildegard. What's better than a Ford F-150? A Ford F-250. Bigger engine. Yep. My Yoka says, good morning from South Africa. Enjoy your channel. The channel. Love the truth is being revealed. Well, you're welcome. I've been doing it for a long time. We're finally getting reward for it. Okay. What else we got here? Why did the Queen go to the dentist to get her teeth crowned? Ha ha! It's a dad joke. My passport, I left Jan Smuts when I returned and landed at Ortambo. Yeah. Okay. Charles. Morning up early, Colonel. Must remind you of Army days. Yeah, well, I'm up all the time, so yeah, it is like being in the Army. Land ownership goes hand in hand with developing land and making it productive. Well, that's the thing. Most of the farms in South Africa were never farmed. Virtually none of them. There was no sedentary agriculture going on for the most part in most of South Africa when the people who became the Boers arrived in South Africa, and they started sedentary farming, introducing vineyards in the Western Cape and then growing wheat and things like that, maize when it became available from the Americas and so on. And they developed the farming techniques. The land was improved upon. Homes were built on it. The soil was enriched. Irrigation was done properly. Runoff was prevented, and less fertile land became very fertile. And now people want to claim that land. They never owned that land. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, the FF will be bored when they get there. Trust me. Off to work, Jacques. Okay, have a good day, Jacques. Well, it's no evening for me. It's still morning. How are some South Africans going to cope in America without a Datsun Bakis? If you got a Datsun, that's an old truck, man. Datsun is old. But let's take a look, and I'll let you guys know what's going on with the channel, okay? So we are now 136 away from 70,000. Maybe I'll hit that. If I make another video, we'll probably hit it tonight. But let's take a look at what's going on for the past day, okay? Just the past day. So I did the South Africa's Consul General was kicked out of Los Angeles, and that was based on single source reporting, which I don't usually do, but it was the only source available. That is 52,000 views, and it's got me 241 new subscribers. Thank you for that. So that's successful. To me, a 50,000 view video is a big success today, but that number will go up. Eventually, I'll get to the point where I expect 75,000 or 100,000 to be a successful video, but that's based on the audience size. So 50,000, and then the shocking development is Congress puts this law out there from Ronnie Jackson, sanctions, shock ANC. So that one's up to 127,000 in one day. It's 80% more than I usually get. 80,000 views more than I usually get. 894 subscribers from that. Thank you all. It died off because of the hour. It's middle of the night, but still getting, well, back to 900 this hour. 1,000 last hour, 900 this hour. So it's picking up steam again. So that's huge, that video. Thank you for that. Then did South Africa know about the Hamas attack? That's at 81,000. That one also died off overnight, but now it's picking back up about 745 per hour. 497 subscribers from that video. Thank you for that. And then I did South Africa's ANC learns the consequences of friends and family only. 52,700. But that was produced later in the day. I did that during the day. And that dropped down to about 600 per hour, and now it's picking back up. So that's got 199 subscribers. That's why we had 2,000 new subscribers today. So, yeah, wow. And then the one I just did, the Athol Trollope interview, is not doing particularly well, but it's at 12,000. It's just starting to pick up now. It's at 3,000 last hour. So, yeah, so people are looking at it now. The hatred of Afrikaners still prevails due to the treacherous behavior during the Boer War when they joined the Brits to war against their kin Boer for selfish material reasons. What do you mean by that? You talking about the Afrikaners or the Afrikaners in the Western Cape? Is that what you're talking about? I worked on a farm 4 years, so I'm good to go. Yeah, if you say so. I was a farmer, and now I'm a beekeeper, so it makes me a farmer too. You're going to have to learn to say Bucky more than truck as most of your followers are South Africans. No, not most of my followers. Well, you're right. Right now, most of my followers are South Africans. That's a true story, but normally it isn't. About 40% were South African, but now it's really bumped up. It's twice as many. It's raining Xbox for me the whole day. Wow. Okay. Okay, alts. You're talking too cuddly. No. It's false. But that's fake news. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what too cuddly said. Let me see if I can find too cuddly here. Vehicle ownership and driving license for refugees. Okay, well, they're not for refugees. Okay, first off, let's get that out of your head. And then the fake news is coming here from one of my viewers who means well, but is getting bad information. Let me get that straightened out. I can't find where it's at now. Okay, so here we go with the refugee question. You must, when you settle in a state in the United States, you must comply with state laws. Every state is different. Every state is different, ladies and gentlemen. Every state, okay? You must comply. Now, I don't remember the rules here, but I think in Pennsylvania you have 60 days. So when I was stationed here on active duty, legally I wasn't a resident of the state. That's unusual because the military remain residents of the state where they entered the military from. So I was an Ohio resident and I paid taxes and I voted there, even though I didn't live there, because you can't be changing your residency every time the military moves you around. So I didn't have to have a Pennsylvania license until I retired. And then within 60 days I had to get a Pennsylvania license or I would have been driving illegally because you're not allowed to have a license if you're living in a state from another state. So when you come to the States, your South African license, you'll be able to drive on that initially. And then you have to get a license from the state you're living in. So some states it's 30 days, some states it's 60 days, some states it's 90 days. I'm not aware of any state in the union that has 6 months. So you don't need an international driver's license. That's nonsense. It's only tied to your South African license anyway. It's not valid if you don't have a South African license. So you don't need an international license. You need your regular driver's license. You come here, you'll be able to drive on that temporarily, but you must go get a license. And normally, if you have a license, all it will require is transferring it over and paying a fee, and getting a photograph, that sort of thing, answering some questions, sometimes registering to vote. But there are some circumstances where some states may make you take a written test, some may make you take a written and driving test, but that's unusual. So there's no 6 months driving on that. Get that out of your mind. You need to get a license ASAP as soon as you get here, okay? Yep. The colonel specialized in Africanized bees. Yeah, Holden, that's right. I did in the Western Cape down there in Somerset West, go hang out with the bees. Car finance. Okay, that was the second part of the question, Arctic. Yeah, interest rates are way too high right now, folks. So your best bet is you have a little bit of money to buy a previously owned automobile, a used car. Yeah, no, you have no credit history. I understand that. It doesn't matter if you're 60 years old, you've paid your bill every time in life, you've borrowed money and paid it back your entire life in South Africa. It doesn't mean jack squat. The only countries that there's a few countries where your credit history might carry over. UK is one of them because our banking systems are very similar and tied together. But when you come to America, you've got no credit history. You start like you're 18 years old. Doesn't matter. And by the same token, if you're a deadbeat who hasn't paid their bills in South Africa, you start with a credit history of zero. So what you do is you build that credit history up. Well, how do you do that when you can't borrow money? Isn't that a catch-22? I can only get credit history if I can borrow money and prove I can pay? No, there's ways around it. Number one, your credit history of paying back your utility bills for your gas or your electric, things like that. You pay them on time every month. You build credit history. You'll get a Social Security number. Once you have a Social Security number, and then you register, you'll pay for your electricity, you'll pay for your gas, and you're going to have your utilities, and that shows history. Also, you can go get a prepaid credit card from Walmart or somewhere like that. They have tons of them out there. You have American Express cards, all kinds of cards. Go get yourself a prepaid card. It's like a debit card. And then you have to load money onto it, so you're not borrowing money, but it's treated like a credit card. So you build credit history. Within a few months, 6 months or so, you'll have a credit history, and you'll be able to go borrow money if you pay your bills on time. So there you go. Not a real Trumper wants to go on and on about this whole Boer and Afrikaner story. I'll play. Afrikaners have character and principle. F.W. de Klerk, Louis Botha, and Yanni Smuts are prime examples of Afrikaners. They were divisive traitors. See what I'm talking about, you guys? So Charles, you said, see, that's a thing of the past. It's not a thing of the past, Charles. Look at this, not a real Trumper. Look at that. Look at that. He's dividing the Afrikaans and Boer community right there. I'm not attacking. I'm just saying that's what he's doing. See, he doesn't. So whatever. Who borrows money? Well, businessmen borrow money, companies borrow money, governments borrow money, people who buy homes borrow money. Lots of people borrow money. It's the norm. We are pensioners. RSA pension will be nothing in America. Well, if you're still able to draw your pension, which may be the case, it won't translate into much in the way of dollars. That's true. 4 trekkers were on weed. Most 4x4 enthusiasts wouldn't cross the Drakensberg in a Navarro, or never mind a freaking wagon. You are right about that, Troiko. It just shows you how desperate they were for the promised land. Super D says, "Oh wow, geez, that whole thing, this whole thing about South Africa knowing about Hamas is just such an own goal." Well, we haven't seen definitive proof of it, Super D. And my analysis was if it's true. I didn't claim it was true. I said if it's true. So let's remember that, okay? So my Joker says Afrikaner and Boer does not run and will not run from this land. All right. So the ones who went to Kenya and went to Argentina, they're not Boers. Army versus Navy game when working in Maryland. Yeah, no, that's a great game. It used to be done down there at the at the Washington Redskins Stadium, but then they do it in Philadelphia some years too. So, yep. Afrikaner does not run. Well, I hope you're right. Let's take a look at how many people are watching the videos right now. Let me check and see. Come on. Oh, come on, YouTube. All right, well, we slowed down quite a bit. But when I say quite a bit, we were getting the lowest hour we've had overnight was 3,200 views from 8 to 9 p.m., which would be 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning South African time. We still had 3,200 views. Well, 2,900 from the 3 a.m. And so we picked it back up. Now we're up to 10,000 from midnight, and we're at 10,600 for this hour. We still got 15 minutes. So that's a good sign. And that's without producing any new videos. Not running away. I'm going towards a new chapter. There you go. Finally awoke. Did I miss anything? Hey, training after 50. Building a future for our kids. Well, you see, that's the division in the community, though, guys. When you tell me, Charles, if you're still here, here's Charles. When people tell me that this thing is a thing of the past, it's not a thing of the past. It's very real. I've experienced it firsthand. It's kind of like when I was with the Sightlanders, before they became Sightlanders Civil Defense, before they broke into two. Gustav Muller and Wayne de Toit split into two groups. I went to Pretoria for my second event with the Sightlanders, and I had interviewed Neil de Beer in the Western Cape before I got there. Some Sightlanders were grumbling and saying, "Oh, you can't trust Chris anymore. Can't trust him. He's a traitor." And Wayne was upset about that, as was Rob McGimpsey and a few other people saying, "Well, what are you talking about? What traitor to what?" Well, he interviewed that Neil de Beer. That guy's a traitor. So that grumbling was going around. And so there were some Sightlanders who were very angry with me, with no basis to be angry at me, but they were. So when we had our event in Pretoria East, Wayne got up in Afrikaans and started speaking, and then he switched to English to make sure I understood what he said. But I understood most of it in Afrikaans. He said, "This stops now." I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I think Michelle, if Michelle's here, she was at that event that night. Michelle's the one who helped me get my visa sorted out when they screwed me at immigration. So he said, "This stops here. I don't want to hear any more of this grumbling about Chris. Chris is a colonel. You show him respect. And he's an independent journalist now. He brings the news to people. He interviews people he agrees with, people he disagrees with, people he likes, people he dislikes. That's what he does now. And that's what he was doing with Neil de Beer. You don't have to watch it, right? And that's pretty much the gist of what he said. Then he switched to English, so I understood it. Yeah, and that's the bottom line here. So like today, I interviewed Athol Trollop. Some of you don't like Athol, and that's your prerogative. I'm not telling you to like him or dislike him. I'm not telling you to vote for Action SA or not vote for Action SA. I'm trying to bring you the news, objectively. So, Charles says, about our children, what was the great trek not running? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Charles. So for the people saying that Boers don't run, Afrikaners don't run, really? Then why the hell did you leave Europe? Why did you flee from France? Because they were murdering and raping your family. So you fled from France. You went to the Netherlands, Spanish Netherlands, and then to England and to Berlin. And then you came to South Africa. So what do you mean they don't flee? The Germans left Germany because there was no hope for them there. They went to South Africa. The Dutch left the Netherlands, went to South Africa. Why? If things were so great there, what were you fleeing from? Were you running away from the tulips? Yeah, there's my tulips right there. Were you running away from tulips? How the fuck did you get to South Africa in the first place? And then you mixed and became a community. And then the Brits pissed you off, so you went up north. You ran away. You ran away. So this argument that Boers don't run away is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's total bullshit. That's your entire history. It's your entire history, the Afrikaner Boer. You don't like what's going on, so you pick your toys up, you throw them out of the pram, and you leave. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You want to give people crap because they want to come to America? Well, then you deny your own history. Your history is movement from one place to another. Americans are the same thing. We fled Europe. We got the hell out of there. Screw this, man. Religious persecution because you're Catholic, you're going to be in prison. Because you're Protestant, you're going to be in prison. You're going to be put in prison because you're not a Württemberger. You're actually a Fedsa. No, let's get the hell out of here, man. Go to America. Build a new life. There's no more land. It's all been bought up in New England. It's all rocky anyway. It's poor farming soil. I'm a farmer. Screw this. Let me move to Pennsylvania. Ooh, rich land. My grandkids, no more land. It's been divided. Pick up, move west. They move to Ohio. In Ohio, they get there. Oh, no more land. Pick up, move west. It's the nature of human communities. Don't tell me that Afrikaners and Boers are not Afrikaners and Boers because they leave and they're fleeing. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's your entire history. You wouldn't be a people as Afrikaners and Boers if you didn't run away from shit. You ran away from shit. That's what you do. It's your history. That's not a criticism. It's a statement of fact. I think the point the people are trying to make is that they don't run from a fight. That's different. David Balabio, welcome to the description. You don't run from a fight. Maybe that's the point you're making. But in fact, you do. Did the Afrikaner, the Boers, not surrender in 1902? Did they not have a piece of Vereniging? Did I just dream that up? I have read The Defense of Duffer's Drift, and maybe the dreams in Duffer's Drift may be confused about what happened at the end of the Anglo-Boer War. And Game of people were against Neil de Beer for two reasons. Number one, a lot of South Africans who fought for the South African Defense Force, who served in the police service under the National Party, were angry because they saw him as a traitor. Neil de Beer was a police member, and he spied for the ANC's Mkhonto we Sizwe. So he betrayed South Africa. So people hate him for that. Okay? Then he was, from that point on, a lifelong member of the African National Congress. And then he had enough of the African National Congress and said, these guys are crooked, and he left that. So ANC people call him a traitor because he betrayed the ANC. So he's hated by Afrikaners and Boers, some, and he's hated by ANC. So a lot of people hate Neil de Beer. But you know what's in the middle? An awful lot of people that like, respect, and love Neil de Beer. I'm not telling you to like or respect him or love him. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that's the truth. So anyway. Colonel is in Badonista School. Meltdown. Since the ANC took over, the Afrikaans culture has been decimated. That's why the infighting. The infighting's always been there, Andre. It isn't since they took over. Is remaining 3% of a hostile populace staying and fighting or suicide? Amerikaner says. You're more than 3%. 2.8 million Afrikaners out of a population of 63 million. So that's white Afrikaners. Remember, my definition of Afrikaner is broader. It includes the Griquas and the Orlums and the Rehoboth Bastards and people like that. So 2.6 divided by 63 equals 4%. So you were close. Young white Afrikaans people don't know their own history. Exactly. Neil de Beer did what he wanted to do, bring change to South Africa. At least he had the balls to stand up against the Afrikaans government. Even Steve Hofmeyr was standing up against the Nazis. Yeah, alert. Yeah, you're spot on there. You're spot on. So, I mean, people always attack other people, but, until you've walked in their shoes, it's difficult to do. Sorry, Frong, failed history. Oh, the Reddit. You failed history. Koba says he hates this Afrikaner Boer stuff. So do I. What I found is that people telling we should stay give us a chance. Boer never runs. They normally are the people first in the queue to run, says Fred. Sorry, running away is bullshit. It's looking for new opportunities. You plunger. Who you talk? Call me a plunger, Mr. QB? Technically, you're right, but we have no other identity other than Afrikaner. Conflating settlers with modern Afrikaners isn't fair. Can I use the same logic against Americans? In what way do you mean by that, Werner? What way do you mean by that? Americans aren't running away. You mean like Rosie O'Donnell? Good riddance. I would have paid for her flight to Ireland. Doms Brakamakara. Wow, that's interesting. How you doing there? Thousands of households, businesses have no power, no resolution minutes. Yeah, exactly. Young white Afrikaans people don't know their own history. Yep. That's where we're going. We have survived here long enough, and now looking to flourish the country, we're actually welcome. Okay? Someone explain to me of how blacks can say they're free when they're dependent on BE. Well, a lot of black people feel the same way you do, Buster. They don't like that because it shows that they're not accomplishing it on their own. Neil is standing up for all people in this country. He's not a racist and says what others are afraid to say. Full support from, says Steve Young. Yeah. Yep. So people might say, well, why did Neil de Beer change? Well, it could be a lot of reasons. People change in life, but it leaves suspicion. People don't trust him. That's fine. If you don't trust Neil de Beer, that's your prerogative. You don't have to. I'm not telling you to like or dislike Neil de Beer. I'm just bringing you Neil de Beer and talking about things. Neil de Beer has that Afrikaans domi, is that what's the for the priest, the domi, right? Something like that, domineer, domi, has that sort of that voice and that gravitas, and so people glom onto that. Lots of people make mistakes in the past. Neil de Beer was a traitor, but he realized his mistake. I think he knows this, but respect he's trying to fix it. Yeah, before he dies, exactly. And that's another thing. When you talk about Neil de Beer, folks, remember that Neil had cancer and nearly died already. He survived amazingly the cancer, and he was cancer-free, but it's come back, and he's dealing with cancer. And instead of just relaxing on a beach or sitting back and kicking back in Hermanus, enjoying Patron and caviar, which he can do, Neil's got money. He could be just relaxing, enjoying his days, getting the best care in the world. But he's out there fighting for people. He's fighting for South Africa. So, I mean, like him, dislike him, be honest about him, all right? You can say he betrayed people, that's fine. And there's truth to that story. But, before you go hating on people, know more about them. So, anyway. Neil's a good person. He believes in Jesus and has turned his life around after the ANC. Well, okay, I think a lot of people believe that. And Basel says Afrikaners can't stand together. It's a fact. Well, I think we've proven that time and time again. Any white person who does not feel threatened in South Africa is blind. Tell me one time where a criminal has asked your history before attacking. Court ruling and chanting has placed targets. Exactly. Iron Brian gave a 70 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. Okay. If settlers is unfair, you can say the same foe. National Party 30 years ago, they flee from potential civil war. Hey, Fang Wan, what's going on? Whoops. Okay. LT, Neil is my current favorite politician, says Martin. The guy listens to everything. The rest sit on their phones while there's talk. Yep. Yeah, sorry, Loretta. I did miss your question. I'm trying to catch as many as possible. Louis Lubis says, I'm an Afrikaner. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to move America, start over, and have a privilege to look after my 2 elder parents. Okay? So true. It's our history, and this will end up being the Great Trek 2.0. Priest. Yeah, but they don't say priest in Afrikaans, man. Afrikaner wannabe refugees are not Boers. Stop running away from the problems you liberal Afrikaners created. I'll bet most Afrikaners have voted yes for Rainbow Future and now regret it. Okay, not the real Trumper. All right, there you go. Domini. Yeah, so Domini, I was close. I knew the word, I just couldn't think of it. So Domini, thank you. I just want to thank you guys for that. Sarah Tennyson says, I just want to get out of here before I lose everything. Will the plan be implemented with respect? We have no idea when the plan. Peter Prinsloo, thank you. Oh, Sandra Prinsloo. Yes, make me think of Sandra Prinsloo. We have no idea when the plan is going to be done, Sarah. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. We can make projections, but it's a guess at this point. Neil de Beer is charismatic, yes. And Afrikaners receive emails from many people of color wanting to leave South Africa, especially multi-generational South African Indians. And I'm sure lots of coloreds, too. Iron Brian says, we cannot ask the world to move on from the past and then complain about Neil. Exactly. I don't care what he did. I care about what he's doing now, and he's standing up against these corrupt bastards today. Yeah, exactly. Taliyard, thank you. Taliyard's one of those cool names. Yeah, so anyway, speaking of that, there is some great stuff color folks do in South Africa. And this is one of my favorite songs from South Africa. I love this song. And I want to interview her, but I can't get the connection. Very frustrating for me. Very frustrating for me. And some of you will recognize this Bridge to Nowhere in Cape Town. And I think Hendo will know who I'm talking about if he's still here. Oh, yeah. Oh, one of my favorite songs, Tyron Lamb. That's brilliant. How long ago is that now? 6 years already. Tyron Lamb. I want to interview her, but I don't have a connection. Anybody knows Tyron Lamb can get me an interview with her, I will be grateful. I might come back to South Africa just to interview her in person, even though I said I'm not coming to South Africa. Nobody, and guess what, folks? Once you arrive, you say nobody gives a crap about Afrikaner, Boer, and your purple ostrich. Exactly right. The main problem with Afrikaners, they tend to agree to disagree. Exactly, Steve. Always walk a mile in your critic's shoes. That way, if you're wrong, you walk a mile and you have you have their shoes. At least you get their shoes. Even Indians of colors, race groups are not included in BE laws. Okay. Sorry, Colonel, you're not the plunger. I was commenting on something. Yeah, no, I figured you weren't, Mr. QB. I figured you weren't. I just thought I'd ask you. Neil de Beer changed because he believed in Nelson Mandela, who wanted to bring change. But as time went on, he started seeing these true colors. I think that's a fair statement, Alert. I think that's a fair statement. He did. Also, quite frankly, guys, let me look. I mean, I don't... So, look, wherever you sit on the fence, if you're honest, you will admit that the concept as it was applied under separate development apartheid, the way it was applied was morally reprehensible. Denying people opportunity based on skin color is just morally wrong. Just morally wrong. Separate development is not necessarily wrong. Communities develop on their own. That's, if you want to do that, that's your prerogative. You want to live in a neighborhood that's people like you. You want to go to church with people like you. You want to speak the language with people like you. There's nothing wrong with that. Inherently wrong with that. Whether it's based on skin color or it's based on ethnic origin, it's nothing wrong with that. But discriminating against people based on their origin or their skin color is morally wrong. And that's what apartheid became. So if Neil de Beer betrayed South Africa during the apartheid era because of that, you don't have to forgive him, but you certainly should be able to put yourself in his shoes and understand why he did that. Anyway, and he believed in Mandela because he drank the Kool-Aid of the Rainbow Nation that so many millions of South Africans and people around the world, particularly in the West, bought into. And after the passing of Mandela from stage, but not from life, but from the stage, it became increasingly clear that the ANC wasn't about Rainbow Nation and unity and forgiveness and reconciliation. They're about self-enrichment, self-aggrandizement, and craven political power. That's when they reveal their true colors. Would Nelson Mandela still vote? No, he wouldn't. I don't think Nelson Mandela would vote for the ANC today. I don't think Oliver Tambo would vote for the ANC. He wouldn't even recognize the ANC today. Yeah. Robert Sobukwe, who was an ANC, definitely wouldn't vote. Steve Biko wouldn't vote for these clowns. Yeah, Sir Blight says, a lot of our parents and grandparents didn't agree with apartheid. Neil just had the balls to do something about it. After 94, we all had hopes of a country that just lived together. Yep. Papa Yusa, welcome to you. What are you laughing about, man? Sanctions didn't work with Russia. Why do you think they'll work now? Oh, they did work on Russia, to Boho. Oh, you're back to Boho. Sanctions did work on Russia. But the reason they weren't more effective is for exactly the reason I told people before the war started. Go back and watch the video. It's going to be hard to find because it's one of my live streams. I told people, I said, Putin just went to Beijing and met with Xi Jinping. And Xi Jinping agreed to buy timber, iron, oil, and commodities, wheat from Russia so that when they attack Ukraine, they'll survive. And that's exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened. The Chinese are buying Russian commodities so their economy didn't collapse. So they found a way around the SWIFT system. So when you're saying it didn't work in Russia, of course it worked in Russia. It just, what do you expect the sanctions to do? The sanctions are going to have limited effect because of that. And I predicted that. And guess who was right? Again! I told you they're going to have a limited effect because of that. So what was Biden supposed to do? Nothing. Welcome back to Boho. People call us runners, have no idea about life and love families. Exactly. And Game is here. A lot of us hate BE, cater nonsense, and race baiting, but many are scared to be called traitors. Yep. As far as I understand, not all white settlers that came to South Africa were not willingly doing it. UK and other countries sent people here. No. Well, slaves were shipped there from Asia, that's for sure. A few from other parts of Africa, but most of the whites, they weren't impressed, to my knowledge. No. Julie says, beautiful. What's beautiful? Oh, yeah, Taran Lamb. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Brilliant song. Alert South Africa says, I think you have a very deep love for South Africa. I have a very deep love for humanity and for the world. South Africa is a particular interest to me, yes. But so is all of Africa. So's my Scandinavian and German ancestry. Yeah, I find the Japanese fascinating too. Why wouldn't Neil qualify as a refugee? Anil van Rooyen, ek wil jou ken. Let me see. If I can find that. That sounds familiar. So Joe is live at this hour. I didn't know that. So hang on. So it's Annalie. Yeah, but that song is not showing up here. Ekville, okay. Ekville. Okay, there it is. Okay. Well, it didn't want to come up. Klavierskoor met Pedro.
Neem my saam, hou my vas by jou, laat my glo in jou, ek weet jy sou so graag wou.
That's on Huisgenoot TV that's playing that. Okay, there you go. I've played it. Thank you for that. I don't know if we get in trouble for playing it. You can come to South Africa, surely doubt they get any flack. Government's at least apathetic as hell. Istervark, well, it's a question whether they want to come to South Africa. Micheline Swat, okay. Napoleon says Mandela wasn't always be a terrorist. Well, he was a self-described terrorist. He's also the leader of a political party, president of the Republic of South Africa, a boxer, a barrister, a traditional chief. He was a lot of things. Very complicated man. Sanctions won't work in South Africa. Well, sanctions aren't going to be applied to South Africa. No one's talking about applying sanctions to South Africa. They're talking about applying sanctions to the leaders of South Africa. I can tell you one thing. Julius Malema is in trouble. The Secret Service are investigating him right now. He's in deep kimchi. So I guess he's going to have to get his Breitlings from somewhere else. Neil Diamond will not take up the offer. Neil Diamond's an American. What offer is he going to take up? Arctic says, I doubt you would have the same opinion of a U.S. Army member betraying the U.S. government. Well, my government's not illegitimate. And I have a negative opinion of people who betray the Constitution. Absolutely. Bradley Manning should be in prison the rest of his life. Edward Snowden should be doing hard labor in Leavenworth. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah. Right. Heinrich Schonefeld, thank you for your membership. Keeping it real. All right. Afrikaners who live in the USA make up the highest country and immigrant group involved in agriculture, according to that. That's news to me. I didn't know that. So you think China, Russia will sanction us too? No. Why would they sanction you? You're Heinrich Schonefeld gave 140 rand super chat. Thank you for the 140 rand. No, the ANC government is doing the bidding of China, of Beijing and Moscow. Why would they sanction you? They are fascist, communist in the same respect. So why would they sanction fellow travelers? Like I said yesterday, back in the 80s, yes, they thrived under sanctions because how they had money. Today, there's no money. Yeah, exactly. Denzel said this war's crazy. Which war is that, Denzel? Neil Beer is certainly one of the most entertaining politicians. You got to give him that. I have pride, but not letting that get in the way of my bambinos having a future, says Vlam. It's real easy. They must just ban KFC. Russia is leaving Siberia less defended than the Chinese. Oh, yeah, no. And that's something I've also told people here. You're not hearing it from other analysts. I've told you that Russia's in grave danger. Grave danger. Because the Chinese are invading Siberia. And they will. And the Russians won't be able to do anything because Russia's depopulating. Russia's population, Russia proper, in the Russian Federation, Russia proper, was 168 million, I think, when the Soviet Union broke apart. Today it's about 134 million. They're dying. The Russians are dying. Alcoholics, poor health, hypertension, high blood pressure, they're dying off. And as they die off and they don't populate East Asia, the eastern part of Russia, Siberia, Kamchatka, the Chinese will move in and occupy the land. And by default, they'll take it over. So, yeah, the Russians have a real problem there. And I've been telling people about that for a few years. Napoleon says Neil wouldn't qualify because he's part of the apartheid police. Him betraying his bosses makes no difference. That's not true, Napoleon. There are people who served in the apartheid area police and people served in the SADF who've come to America and become naturalized Americans. So the refugee thing, it won't necessarily prevent them from doing it. Atlantis Community Church, once again, disclose what you've done. Be honest with people when you're interviewed. Just because you were in the apartheid area police, you have to have done something that disqualifies you from. The fact that people serve in uniform doesn't disqualify them. Micheline Swart, 14 Rand Super Chat. Thank you for that. Only running ANC does this from the bar to the couch. The expelling of all politicians from USA, it seems as if SA is preparing for war. If the USA... No, we're not preparing for war. What war? Hardest Hotzenberg. What war? I mean, we could send a Marine battalion and conquer South Africa. We could land a Marine battalion on the beaches of Durban and conquer. Now, they have to be careful not to step in the human feces all over the beach. You know, that kind of mess up their boots. But the Marines can land in Durban, and Durban would fall within 2 hours. It would be under Marine control. And from there, they just get on the road, and they drive up to Pietermaritzburg. From there, they drive to Joburg. And the weekend, it's all over. It's over. If I had a choice of Texas, California, Florida, I would take none of the above. None of the above, Rachel. None of those states appeal to me. Florida is hot, humid. It's like Durban. Ick. It's flat. Ick. I like hills and mountains. Texas is hot. It's got cultural divides that I have no interest in. I'm interested in culture, but not that culture. and it's not for me. California is beautiful once you get north of San Francisco, but it's still California, so unfortunately, no thank you. Loose when you lie. Yeah, no, Jan, I know. Okay. Tabo says, Kronkos, in your YouTube, you should come with ideas on how black and white can live together without dividing them. Because black people don't hate white people. Taboho, why don't you watch my content before making such a silly statement? Tuboho, have you not seen me speak positively of the Tswana people from South Africa, the Basotho people? The things I've done, my talking about history, how those people are natural allies of the Trek Boers because they fought together against Mzilikazi in the Ndebele and chased him north of Limpopo. Have you not seen that? Tuboho, you know, not attacking you, but it's comical to see people come in here and make these bogus bullshit statements about me. It's like that asshole on that video I talked about earlier saying I divide whites and blacks. I don't do that. That's bullshit. That's his bigotry. And if you can't see what I do to promote unity and Ubuntu in South Africa, then it's your bigotry, Tuboho. This is ridiculous. You know, that's your worldview. That's your bigotry applied to me because I lack sufficient skin pigmentation to meet your worldview. That's on you. That's the cross you must bear. That is not me. So if that's your belief, then I don't understand why you're watching the channel. Why are you watching the channel? Why are you here? If you think, this shit really gets old, folks. It really, really gets old. I'm getting tired of this. Okay, let's look for Forum for Democrats. How many times I have to show? Whatever. Okay. Oh, here we go. November 23rd, 2021. My first interview with him. Okay. And this stuff just really gets old, man. Grassroots political parties in South Africa. Forum for Democrats with Tabiso Morat Bantwa. Dividing South Africans. Give me a fucking break.
And the commission, the Independent Electoral Commission, it registered us around the 3rd of March 2020.
Respond or don't have resources to respond, pervasive crime. All of this sort of adds up. Do you think that there's perhaps a change now amongst ordinary South Africans looking at the African National Congress, not as the party that it claims to be the party of liberation, but more as the party that fails to keep the lights on and fix the potholes?
I'll tell you, if you look at the trends of our elections, you'll realize that if there is any change that the
viewer of mine who was voting in the Western Cape in Hermanus went to the Fynbos Park polling station, and it was elderly people with special voting on the weekend. So they went to vote. Many of these people had the tech
for Zulus. That's my belief.
Mm-hmm.
That is how I observe it. That is how I've seen
See,
it.
this is the problem. That's why they attacked my channel the first time, because I promote unity among South Africans, and the racist black supremacists didn't like that. So they targeted my channel back in the day when someone else ran YouTube, and they would just take you down. But they're wrong. So Taboho, your concept of who I am and your understanding of who I am is just bullshit. You really need to adjust your aperture, because you're narrowly looking at something because of my skin color and making a determination which is bogus. So, but that's what people do. That's what people do. I don't do that. Okay, so okay, let me get this. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I love this song too. Do you want it from Francois van Kolk and Karen Zoid? That's the first song I ever heard from Francois van Kolk. Yeah, first one I ever heard. Yeah, I ever saw from Francois van Kolk before I even knew about Fokhof Policier. Yeah, so I've interviewed him. Yeah, so anyway, back to the chat. So I played it, Tom All. Does that make you happy? One thing I can tell you, Cyril is not sleeping well. Yeah, yep. Hey, Karina van Dalen, welcome to you. Dark, my father used to negotiate Ramaphosa and others during mine factions. He said it was always a tribal issue. Look at the government now. Yeah, there's no difference now. Yeah, it's the same thing. Quiz, it just says he never hated black people, so don't feed it, Chris. Craves, don't feed it. 100% correct. We do flee. We forget to add the great track. Yeah, exactly. Not happy with the British. Exactly. Concept of diversity is that all democratic races contribute equally. Buster B says, where do others lose? have 400 and something history books on PDF just for South Africa. Wow. Wow, Martin, that's quite a collection. Toboho, forget that the ANC government is the one that divides us, black and white. Yeah, it's the ANC government, it's not me. So, okay. Politics divide us. So, way, Colonel Chris, what is your view? I don't understand, Toboho. I don't understand your question. I'm not being combative. What is the way forward? Is to disavow these politicians and get rid of them legally. That's a beautiful song. Color of skin doesn't make you bad. No, but your acculturation and your behavior can make you bad. Apartheid police served well into 10 years following 94 election. Exactly. So, exactly. Purple tulips are touching Australia. Yeah, but they're dying. The petals are falling off now, so that's the end of those. Whites embraced non-racism in 1994, voted it out, remember? Yeah, but whites are the ones being blamed for racism when they're the ones that voted it out. Yeah, I know, David Farie. It's Francois van Cook. Well, how do you think we say Coke? Coca-Cola. It's the same way. I know he made it up because his father didn't want him using the surname because all the trouble was related to it. The way forward, blacks and whites can live together without any problems because if politics divide us, what can we do as black and white? Well, you're always going to have politics, Toboho. There's always politics. That's not going away. Governments exist to take care of our collective needs. It's just the nature of human societies. So what you do is you get rid of the scumbags and you vote real people in office. First off, South Africa has to amend its constitution because this stupid list system of parties where parties come first is bullshit. That's part of your biggest problem in South Africa. These parties pick loyal people, not competent people. Look at the DA. Look at the ANC. There are competent people in the DA, more competent people percentage-wise than the ANC, but it's no different. They pick loyal people. Yeah, that's my tune. You're welcome, Tomahawk. Okay. You are educated, well-informed, and capable. Real pleasure to have your attention on this country and this issue now. You're very welcome, Charles Skeen. It's my pleasure. Lewis says, do you know how the Democrats feel about Afrikaners? Lewis, right now the Democrats are in some deep kimchi. They are in trouble. The Democrats are in deep shit. They don't really care about Afrikaners right now. They have a 24% approval rating in America. Less than 1 in 4 Americans who are politically inclined give a flying flip about Democrats. They have bigger fish to fry than Afrikaners. Trust me. You're not even in their mind. Mkonzeni Nukmalo, welcome to you. I hope I do your surname justice, Nukmalo, because with that X in there, it's tough for me. But welcome to you. Good day. What happened to the MTN Turkcell telecommunications in Iran when Cyril Ramaphosa was empty? Oh, Nukmalo, you're asking a very good question. That's a good question. I have my views on what happened there, and I'm not really going to go into tonight, but thank you. It's a fair question. Let's bring that question up again at some point in the future. Yeah, that's a good question. Yep. Well, we could ask questions about Cyril Ramaphosa's $350 million of wealth. He didn't earn that. That was gifted to him. It's a whole other story. Yeah, the right-wing tulip is gone. Yeah, the right-wing tulip is gone. Yep, the right wing lost its petals. So no right-wingers here. So Nkhmalo, where are you from there? Well, Mkonseni. I probably get that better, right? Mkonseni. Where are you from, man? Concept, what's this? Something about race there. Okay. 769 people currently here. Hit the like button, folks. They don't care about worrying about the illegals being deported. Problem is, people still see. Yeah, they see black and white. I see dead people. I see dead people. Boys have penises, girls have vaginas. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people in Springfield. Cetric Talks, welcome to you. Not sleeping well because the money stacked in the mattress is too lumpy. Yeah, it's not even. Race hustling is a criminal's quarter of power to politics. Exactly right. That's what they do. They divide people on race. Would you say what is happening in South Africa now is for the history books? I think this is major. Oh, yeah. No, this, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake. We are at a major inflection point in the history of South Africa right now. This is as important as P.W. Botha approaching Nelson Mandela and having him come visit him clandestinely during apartheid. This is as important as what happened then. What happens now determines the future of South Africa. It can go very badly, and unfortunately, I think we're on that path. I hope it can change, or it can turn things around. The problem is the ANC. They are the problem. And there are people in the ANC who are legitimate, who care and are patriotic and care for multiracial capitalist society, but their voices are silent. and they need to stand up. How long does it take for these Texas Republicans to act to be represented? Well, Arnold, I really can't answer that question. So Congress moves at its own pace. A bill can get proposed to the House, go to committee, be reviewed, put out on the street within a matter of days if they really want it, and they control Congress or control the House. Then it goes to the Senate, and if they're ready. They've been working on it. So, for instance, when presidents come in, President Trump got a tax bill in the first few weeks of his first administration last time because it was all prepared. They took it, someone presented it, they voted out right away, went through committee, and it done. But these bills, there was no pressure to build them. These, I think, are stunts by Republicans to make a point, and it's working. So I don't know. We'll see if they even see the light of day. But the fact that they're being talked about, the fact that they exist is enough. It's enough to put pressure on the world to pay attention to what's happening in South Africa. So this House resolution by Ronnie Jackson right here, this is huge, man. Sanctions, eligible for the imposition of sanctions and other purposes. That is bad news, bad mojo for the ANC, I'm telling you. All right, so yeah, is any? Well, I played Taran Lam, I played Anna Lee, I've played Francois van Kolk. Have any of the songs I played been about murdering people? And the songs in this country that inspire people are America the Beautiful. No one's being murdered in that song. The Star Spangled Banner. Nobody's being murdered in that song. Yeah, so must demand better governance. Yeah, exactly. Not just South Africa, across the West. How long does... Okay. Most of the shares of MTM and Konzi, what happened to the... I already answered that question. Is it coming up again? Hensopers. Oh my goodness. And what exactly was your concept of not a real Trumper? What should the National Party have continued with the apartheid system after 92? How long do you think that would have lasted? The only reason South Africa was able to survive during the Cold War is because it was a Cold War. Not because of your inherent, fortitude or your ability to overcome sanctions with coal to fuels conversion and your domestic industry and your advanced arms industry. That's not. No, it's because there was a conflict between East and West. When the Cold War ended, support for that ended, and all the attention would have been turned on South Africa. So how exactly do you see that going forward from 1992 in an alternative history? A counterfactual history, not a real Trumper. Tell me the counterfactual history. See, I'll entertain that. I'd like to hear it. I'd like to know how 5 million white South Africans will continue to govern 100 million black South Africans under an oppressive system in the year 2050 if apartheid and the National Party remain in power. How does that happen? And when you liberalize, you lose control. Look at Ceausescu. He lost control overnight, executed on Christmas Day, 1989. Look at the Soviets. Gorbachev. Perestroika, Glasnost, lost control almost overnight. Government collapse, no longer the leader of the Soviet Union, no longer a Soviet Union. Boris Yeltsin came in. When you liberalize, you can quickly lose control of things. So how exactly did that play out, not a real Trumper, in your mind? How did that play out with the National Party keeping apartheid, although they've been pulling it away, and it wasn't the Afrikaners, it was PJ Botha, or PW Botha. It was PW Botha and Rolf Meyer and those guys. They're the ones that did it. They did it from inside. The real Afrikaners, the real borders. They're the ones that went on this path to ending apartheid. Not the Afrikaners on the streets, not the ones you say are traitors, but the Boers, the true Boers who ran it, the ones who ran the apartheid state, those who ran a security state, those who ran over the rights and freedoms of all South Africans, black, white, and brown. So what's your counterfactual? How is that playing out in 2050? All right? That gives you 60 years of continued National Party rule. What does South Africa look like in 2050? What will force the ANC to back out of racial laws? That's a good question. Kathleen Bernard, thank you for the 50 Rand super chat. They do things that just fly in the face of common sense, like this fight they picked with the United States. Who's demeaning? What's going on? Who got demeaned? I didn't see that. Vera Sequeira says, Colonel, I don't chat much, but I just want to say thank you. Shout out to you and do my best not to miss your updates. Well, thank you, Vera. Appreciate that. Lovely avatar, by the way. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing any chat from Taboho. Where did his chat go to? Natasha says, I've been watching you on my hubby's channel and enjoying your insight. On your hubby's channel? What's your hubby's channel? Or you mean on his device? Internet's bad. If anyone is to blame for dividing whites and blacks, it's the ANC and AFF. Those supporting, yeah, exactly. Kathleen Bernard, you're 100% correct. That's who's responsible for it. MK, EFF, ANC. Black Land First. These are the people dividing South Africans based on race. Not black South Africans, not white South Africans, not Afrikaners, not Boers, not Zul, not Xhosa, not Venda, not Zulu, not Tswana, not Griqua, not Orlum, not Damara, not Khoi, not San, but caters. The race card is old. Race card is old. Yeah, it's all about economics now. Taboho says, imagine me going to USA to pay more money for rent. Okay, so Taboho, you're happy with 1,000 Rand a month salary when you could be making 100,000 Rand a month? Your argument makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever, man. Yes, Taboho keeps coming back, and that means he's curious and observing us. Yeah, I respect it too. And that's why I haven't banged on the guy. Forged by Fire, I like that username. Thank you for all your efforts. Thank you very much. Opportunities for black development in this country is massive. Yeah, exactly. Linda Rasmus is back. How's it going? Rainy. I hear there's a lot of rain going on there. Please help about what to do with my pets when we come over. Kyle Nadir, I've covered this many times. You need to watch the videos. It's on the list. But I will address it so you don't have to go hunting for that. Here's the Substack. The 768 people here. It'd be nice if... Oh, this has crashed too. My tab crashed again. That's frustrating. So, hang on a second here. I got to get my new tab up. Thank you, Eddie Mostart, for subscribing. Live. Come on. Okay. I'll put the link in here in a second. This is a Substack. Please go subscribe to my Substack. All the videos are over there. Okay. Taboho, your message was held by YouTube. I just released it because you didn't say anything wrong. YouTube by default held it, so I just released it. So there's a Substack. I actually go subscribe to the Substack, folks. Okay, Taboho, you just said even white people bribe to get tenders. Yep. And even white people rape. Even white people sleep with their own children. Even white people commit murder. Even white people steal. Even white people lie. Because they're people. Just like black people, just like brown people, just like Christians, just like Muslims. People are people. So why should it be that you and I should get along so awfully? We are different colors and different creeds. Where did I hear that before? Depeche Mode. Yeah, of course white people do that. And so do black people. And so do brown people. People are people, man. All right? If you had to take a wild guess, who do the Americans think will be the next USA president? J.D. Vance. I'm not saying that's just going to be, but that's the money's on him now. Yeah, exactly, Christo. Molefa Taboho didn't do any research. We have 4% unemployment rate in this country. We have 13 million vacant jobs. And I guarantee you virtually every one of them makes more than any job you can find in South Africa. Yeah, he did a video on that, but that's all speculation. People running around as if it's a list. It's not a list. That's a list Rob made up. And it may very well be accurate, but that's not an official list. And people are running around misstating what it is. Yeah, America's a country of opportunities. You'll be earning a lot more. So the question isn't how much you pay in rent, Taboho. The question is what percentage of your income is devoted to your housing. The yardstick for housing is 35%. So banks won't loan you money if you have to be paying more than 35% of your money to pay your mortgage. If your income is $10,000 a month that you clear, well, they actually go before pre-tax, $10,000 pre-tax, and you have a mortgage that's $4,000, the bank is not going to loan you the money. You're too great a risk. If your mortgage is $2,800, they might loan it to you if you have a good credit history. So basically, you should not be paying more than roughly 1/3 of your income for housing. If you are, you're overpaying. And I guarantee you people in South Africa pay more than 1/3 of their income for housing. So you have it far worse than most Americans. So Taboho, you really got to do some research, man. These assumptions you're coming with are not based in reality. They're not based in reality. Central Business District of Durban was multiracial. It was. Not anymore. Not anymore. Meets Jacobs, they will do anything to divide us. They're afraid if we should get together. Yep, criminals rolling South Africa, 100%. So my neighbor is a black family and we get on well. She approached me the other day concerned about what the government and their henchmen are doing. Yeah, you're right. For Vert's mother, Cam's close from Island Amaland, where your ancestry comes from too. Yeah, we might even be related for all I know, because I have ancestry in Amaland in the Netherlands. Goes back centuries ago, but it's there. Okay. People on the ground don't have an issue with each other. Yep, that's for the most part, that's true. Taboho says, what's the way forward before people take refugee status? I think your question, Taboho, is rather than become refugees, how can South Africans make things better? Well, you can stand together. Staan saam, as Afrikaners say. Staan saam. Black and white South Africans should come together and protest and march with each other against the government, against its VAT, against its criminality, against its theft in large numbers. Get attention. That's a start. Wake people up. It will turn into a tsunami. I will tell you now, if white and black and brown South Africans got together, say in Cape Town, with a legal protest and marched on Parliament to end cater deployment, to end theft, to amend the Constitution, carrying signs, and were around each other and stood, and the world saw that, it will grow. It will grow. But instead, what do we get? The EFF going out, getting a few little, clowns like Jack Markowitz to go, see, we've got white people too. The DA talking about how they are a bulwark against the ANC when they're part of the ANC, the way they behave. Action SA, their leader playing the fool, the race card all the time. Gate McKenzie, one time he's for equality, another time he's lambasting white South Africans. You can't decide where he's at. This is what you have. Division. You must be unified. Black, white, and brown. That can change things. Christo, how does it work when you sanction an individual? Well, there's lots of ways to sanction people. You can ban them from travel. You can shut down their banking abilities internationally, shutting off their credit cards. They can't access credit cards. All that system is developed from the United States financial system around the world. Carl Niehaus, thank you for becoming a subscriber. There's a lot of ways. Oh, it's very painful. Very painful what they can do. Yeah, very painful. Francois Robert. I'm not a fan of Kid Rock. I don't dislike him. I just don't find his music good at all. I don't think he can sing for beans. But he's popular. Yes, South Africa needs to end its parastatocracy. Living in the ANC, Adi says, living in ANC ruled country is like living in a toxic household. It's the most frustrating life match for any human with a logical mind. I'm over it and we'll leave for the U.S. in a heartbeat. Okay. MSN not talking about issues enough. People off socials don't see what's happening. This is the reason why politicians buy people, so they can remain in power. Yes, it is. That's what I talk about. How do you stay in the Overton window? Mark, that's an interesting question. What just happened there? We just have super chats or, unsupervised quadriplegic. Good Lord, that's a strange username. Welcome for the subscription. It's difficult to answer that question at 2:30 in the morning, okay? Yep. There was cohesion and progress under Mandela and Mbeki governments. The racial divisions gaps were closing. Zuma's ANC regime destroyed all those positive gains. Ramaphosa is worse. Ramaphosa is worse than Zuma ever was. At least we knew Ramaphosa. At least we knew Zuma was a thief. Yeah, we knew that. Can I have a majority depending on minority? Well, that's part of the problem too, Buster. That's part of the problem. Ethel Trop was disgraced. He was the mayor of Port Elizabeth and collapsed the coalition, was kicked out as mayor. He didn't collapse the coalition. That's revisionist history, Fred Ellis. That is not what happened. The UDM collapsed the coalition because their deputy was corrupt. You're giving a revisionist history. You can dislike Ethel Trop, but you can't make up history, man. You can't make up history. I won't accept that. You can dislike him all you want. That's your prerogative. But don't fairy tale here. That's not what happened to Nelson Mandela Bay. I know very well what happened to Nelson Mandela Bay, and I watched it. And you notice that all the people showing up at the rallies for the Democratic Alliance in Port Elizabeth when he was mayor, who were they? Coloreds. 80% of the people voting for them are coloreds. Sanctioning South African leaders will of course, more corruption. Look in Russia, they're buying cars from Germany and other countries. I think sanctions will cause more problems. Taboho, English is not your first language, dude, and I appreciate that. And it's hard to follow your sentence there, but it also might be typos. So Taboho, will sanctions cause more problems? No, but it will cause the ANC to act like children. Yeah, I see that. I mean, we already saw it today. we saw the behavior of Ronnie Lamola. His response to Ronnie Jackson's legislation, this bill being put before Congress, 15 pages of damning allegations against the ANC, many of which can be demonstrably proven. I've proven them on my program. I've proven them over and over again. And it's funny, this bill has much of what I've told people, the things that South Africa has done to harm U.S. national interests. And so let me go find that really quickly. So hang on a second. Ronnie Lamola gets out there and acts like a fool. He acts like an absolute fool. And says, oh, it's all propaganda, misunderstanding, But Fikile Mbalula, interestingly enough, behaved in a much more restrained fashion. I was a bit surprised by that. Fikile Mbalula, it was much more reserved about what's going on with the U.S. and about this act. And, so that basically, Fikile doesn't know when to shut his mouth, but he shut his mouth today. And he didn't say stupid stuff. But Ronnie Lamola is just a fool. He's a fool to himself. And he's going to find himself bounced out on his ear if Ramaphosa has any balls, because the guy is just comical. He's well beyond his intellectual capacity. The guy shouldn't even be flipping burgers at a restaurant, let alone a minister in a cabinet, because he's completely clueless. So here you go, folks. So this is what I put together. This is a long time ago now, because I've been doing this for a while. What's the date on this? Let me check the date. Properties. This was February 14th, okay? So let me make sure I've got this correct. Hang on a second here. Where's it at? So I'm going to show you, run through these slides real quick that I put together on February 14th, okay? Yep, there we go. Now, this is just a selection of the things that South Africa's ANC has done against us, all of which, well, not all of which, most of which appear in this legislation. So it's coincidental, or is Ronnie Jackson got somebody watching my program? I'll say it's coincidental. I'm not going to take credit for it, but here you go. So this is what was at stake, okay? South Africa needs the U.S.'s support for the G20, the IMF, and World Bank. $20 billion in annual trade, which represents 5% of South Africa's entire gross domestic product. We're the second largest trading partner, and you have a surplus with us, so it works to your benefit. And it's beneficial trade because you're going up the value chain, so most of the value is being accrued in South Africa, unlike commodities, which only gets you the start of the value chain. You have duty-free access to the U.S. via the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, $3 billion a year in exports. The USA buys $430 million in South African minerals. That's 4% of your mineral exports. Can you afford to lose 4% of your mining economy? And from 2003 to 2025, we've donated $8.1 billion to fight HIV/AIDS. USA has $500 million in annual gifted foreign aid to South Africa. So that is what's at stake, folks. That's what's at stake. And it's much more than that. That's just the start of it. And Davi Root will be on the program tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Now, here are some of the things that the African National Congress has done acting against the interests of the United States, much of which, as I said, appear in this bill before the House of Representatives. All right, so let's take a look at that very quickly. So they impose a 75% tariff on U.S. poultry imports in a shameful, childish behavior. They abstained and then refused to condemn the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Ramaphosa ran around the world screaming vaccine apartheid, slandering the United States when we were giving away money for Aspen Pharmacare, $711 million to actually manufacture a vaccine, and they never did it. They are cozy with designated terrorist group like Hamas. They refuse to condemn Hamas's 7 October 2023 terrorist attack. In fact, Naledi Pandor congratulated them in a phone call. They blamed Israel for Hamas's terror attack. They hosted a sanctioned Russian cargo ship, the Lady R. They ignored our polite, discreet diplomatic request about why they did that and what was going on. They held a naval exercise while Russia was at war with Chinese communists in Russia, Operation Mosi II, in February of 2023. Anti-American ties to Moscow, Beijing, Havana. They're actively trying to undermine the U.S. With the BRICS currency concept. Ramaphosa's populist attacks on Trump in 2018. I don't know what about Donald Trump thinks about South Africa. He can keep his America. We will keep our South Africa. They joined 83 other states attacking the United States when Trump sanctioned the International Criminal Court in February of this year. They refused to start in the Article 98 waiver for the Rome Statute back in 1999. And they demanded that Taipei close their diplomatic mission just recently. All right. What else have they done to harm our interests? Well, here's some more. They violate the Vienna Convention by charging us aircraft landing fees because they claim the airports company South Africa is a private company. It's a bullshit. It's a state-owned company that fuels the resources of the government of South Africa, and charging us fees for landing diplomats and military aircraft is a violation of the Vienna Convention. They are a source of money laundering and terror financing, hence they're gray listed. They've authorized United States-sanctioned Russian military cargo plane to land at Waterkloof. They recruited former U.S. and NATO pilots to train People's Liberation Army pilots at a test flying academy in South Africa, and they participated in a CCP, Chinese Communist Party funded political training school in Tanzania to teach authoritarian ideology. And that's just the start of it, folks. That is just the start of it. I mean, they're intentionally undermining our national interest. Yeah, so that's the bottom line with that. That's the bottom line. So they can sit there and play the innocent role, but that's just a smattering. There's much worse than that. USA didn't condemn Israel after killing children. Even today, kids are dying. Why would they condemn? Why would they condemn Israel for killing children? They're not killing children. Children are dying as a consequence of a war started by Hamas. Hamas. So, I mean, that's Teboho, your logic makes no sense there. It makes no sense whatsoever. None whatsoever. All right. Remember, USA tried to sanction Zimbabwe, but the leaders were not affected, so sanctions affected us. No, you're wrong, Teboho. See, your revisionist history is wrong. The USA never sanctioned Zimbabwe. You're lying. Go to the Treasury Department and show me the sanctions on Zimbabwe. There are none. There are no sanctions in Zimbabwe. There have been none on anyone. Rhodesia had sanctions on it, but Zimbabwe's never had sanctions, even when they were murdering the Ndebele in 1983, 1984. Never had sanctions. Never. The leaders, the human rights abusers from ZANU-PF have had individual targeted sanctions on them. That's not the same as having sanctions on Zimbabwe. You're lying. You're factually wrong, Teboho. You got to stop drinking this Kool-Aid. You know, what I'm telling you, you can check on. Go to the Treasury Department. You have the internet. Look up sanctions in Zimbabwe. Look up the history of those sanctions. It has the whole history there. It's never been on Zimbabwe. I can invest money in Zimbabwe if I want. I can move to Zimbabwe if I want. I can do business in Zimbabwe. There's no restrictions on that whatsoever. You, if you're from Zimbabwe, can do business with me. There's no restrictions. You can come here from Zimbabwe. There are no restrictions. However, if you're Emerson Mnangagwa or Robert Mugabe in your grave, you can't come here because you're human rights abusers, you're thieves, you're murderers, you're rapists, and therefore you can't come here. And the state-owned parastatals that you have your hands in that feed money to you by robbing Zimbabweans also can't do business with us. So those sanctions were very effective. Mugabe couldn't go to Harrods anymore. He couldn't go to New York. He couldn't go to Los Angeles and enjoy his vacations at the expense of ordinary Zimbabweans. So he had to go to Singapore for his medical care. So the sanctions were very effective. They were never intended to cause the collapse of the ZANU-PF and the fascist regime of ZANU-PF. That's not what they were meant. They were meant to punish the people who abused human rights, who sent their thugs out to gang rape MDC female members of parliament, kidnap them and gang rape them to teach them a lesson for not supporting the ZANU. So you're mistaken, Teboho. The sanctions were very effective against the leadership of Zimbabwe, and they remain effective against the leadership of Zimbabwe. But unfortunately, they give Zimbabwe a fairy tale to complain that the West hates us, they're racist, they've sanctioned Zimbabwe. That's why our economy's collapsed. Now, the reason the economy collapsed is because you're rapacious thieves. You're fucking thieves. You're scumbag human sewage who steal from Zimbabweans, Shona, Ndebele, Kalanga, Afrikaners, whites. You're thieves. That's why your economy collapsed. But Teboho, you're wrong. You're wrong. You don't understand what you're talking about, my friend. You don't understand. South African married to a foreigner. He has South African citizenship. We have kids. Will he be eligible? Hayanmare, oh, good Lord. I'm sorry. Hanyemere Egri. What is that? Hungarian? I don't know the answer to your question because I don't know. Do you qualify as an Afrikaner? If you do, you can apply. You can apply for your family and they'll be able to go with you. They're not going to split families up. See that 21 Reaper drones have been drowned in Yemen? Nope, I didn't see that. That's shocking if it's true. I haven't seen that. Ethan Axel Fundamech. 100 Rand. Thank you for that 100 Rand. Appreciate that. It's very kind of you. People are scared of the gangs. Yeah, I got you there. Yeah, Charles, we never sanctioned Zimbabwe. Correct. USA didn't even condemn Israel. Okay, yeah, well, we've covered that. Okay, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here. Thank you for your membership, blessed. Shocked to discover the ANC are holding hands with Hamas. Yeah, I'm not shocked. Refugee status comes with conditions. How much does disability pay in part? Does being quadriplegic automatically disqualify me? Well, unsupervised quadriplegic, no, it doesn't automatically disqualify you. You need to watch the videos. That's too much for me to ask you. There's a video specifically about finance, okay, under the refugee list. Let me go to my playlist. Show me playlist here. Go to my channel, actually. Your channel. I'll put this on the screen so everybody can see it. We're going to go to my channel and you can see it, okay. So there it is. There's my channel. 69,900 subscribers. Whoa, we're getting close. Okay, so you're going to want to go to playlist and there for you, upcoming live streams. Trump, South Africa, U.S. Refugee Admissions Program. Okay, let's go across and see if we can get there. Okay, it doesn't. So click on this title, and it'll give me all the videos. Here you go. Okay, down here, interview. It's further down, way down here at the beginning. Part 3, financial resources for South Africans. Right there. I'll give you the link to that. Okay. Benefits such as cash assistance through the TAF program, which I mentioned, temporary assistance for needy families, supplemental security, Medicaid, food assistance through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, and you may be eligible for other cash assistance, medical assistance, employment preparation, job placement, or English language training courses for the services I mentioned that are offered through the Office of Refugee Resettlement, and that's for up to 5 years for those. So there are many sources of income and many sources of help for refugees who come to America. But here's the bottom line. You don't see a mass flow or any flow of refugees going back to their origin. Number one, because their lives are in jeopardy. They're being persecuted. Hence, they're here. And they're not starving to death. They're finding a way to make it. So I would not, if I were applying for refugee status and was granted to come to America, I wouldn't lose sleep over whether I'll succeed in America. Refugees do succeed in America. I'd be more concerned about what I have to abandon and leave behind, because maybe you built something and you can no longer take it with you. Now, so there's the link to that. And then I'd suggest you go to my Substack, which I think is pinned at the top. Is it not? Pinned at the top. Maybe the mods can put it in their pin if it wasn't. Yeah, so unsupervised quadriplegic, I empathize with your position. I can't imagine being in that situation. But disability doesn't prevent you from becoming a refugee. No, other health issues don't. I mean, tuberculosis could be a problem. I don't know if they ban people who have active TB from coming. That might be a problem. Understand, agree with all Afrikaners, says Awkward Leon. Well, there aren't just black Afrikaners. There are colored folks especially consider themselves Afrikaners. I mean, the Griek was the original trek boers long before the white folks got moving out from the Cape. They left. The Rehoboth Bosters, the Orlams, these are all people who fled in mixed race who were really original trek boers. So, yeah, but those people are discriminated against. Okay. Yes, Thibault has been fed misinformation by somebody, and he's here to learn, hopefully, or share. Yes, Nick, I agree. If the ANC had prior knowledge of the attack, now they've been quiet so far. That story broke a day and a half ago. It's a weekend. Let's see if the ANC responds to that story. If any journalist has the audacity to ask them about knowledge of that, that's what I would have done. Hello, microphone in my hand. I don't have a microphone here. So yeah, here's the microphone. So Minister Namola, is there any truth to the allegation coming out of the British from Kasisa that in fact your department, the DIRCO department, had prior knowledge of the attack on Israel by Hamas? And were you in fact, if so, coordinating to get them access to the ICJ and the ICC, even though they're not a participant in those bodies? What say you, Ronnie Lamola? Is any journalist actually going to ask those questions? Probably not, because they're cowards and they're paid hacks in South Africa for the most part. There are some real journalists there, but not many of them. Peter says, what you're saying about ZANU-PF is 100% correct. I know it's 100% correct, Peter. I know Zimbabwe. I know the history. Thank you, though. Thank you for confirming, though. No, they are not going to open up to Zimbabweans. Now, if you're an Afrikaner that came from Zimbabwe and you're a South African citizen or living in South Africa, you might qualify. Yep. Ethan, thank you for the super chat. Be brave. I was born when sanctions in South Africa. Now I'm probably going to die under sanctions. And crucified for my color. Sorry to hear that, Be brave. Okay, Chris, you are now sabotaging yourself. If you're focused more on providing South African solutions on how to persuade civil servants, remind them. What? You're sabotaging yourself. If you're focused more on providing South African citizen solutions on how to persuade the civil servants, remind them if they're beholden to, they wouldn't run and try. That doesn't make any sense at all, not the real Trumper. I'm sabotaging myself because I'm giving honest discourse and debate. That doesn't make any sense. I don't even understand what you're saying there. Colonel should start training us to become Americans. How soon? Well, apparently, Madeline, that would sabotage myself, if I understand correctly. Blessed, thank you for your membership. I think a salute already. Cannot be contributing group of diversity if your only thing you can offer is a promise to withhold violence. Yeah, there you go. DB, thank you very much. Iran has Chinese lasers, so maybe they'll do the Yemeni. John Tully, my daughter is half off her cons. I'm a chartered accountant with MBA, not able to find work, mainly due to skin color and affirmative action. John Tully, I don't know that you would, but again, I'm not the one writing the program. I would have written it for ethnic minorities if I did it. So guys, we couldn't avoid the refugee questions. They came eventually. Don't you think further action against ANC should rather happen after the refugee program, as this could cause more divide and possible violence towards minorities? Etienne, it's a fair question. I don't think the two are actually linked. So, but yeah, your point's valid. But that's not really an issue for members of Congress. They don't care. They don't care about that. They're not the national security apparatus. Members of Congress are oftentimes opinionated asshats who are slightly better looking than their opponent, who got elected by corrupt political parties, and they go to Washington. Some are genuine patriots. Some are just fools. And we see that. There are fools like Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Liz Cheney, all kinds of fools. They go to Washington and they're fools. I don't know that Thibault is a 30%er, Tomahawk. That's unfair. Let's not insult people. There was no reason he didn't insult you. Okay? But, John, I don't have an answer for you. I knew a John Tully in the Army. Proposed amendments, interesting. With South Africa's unrest. Yeah, well, it's going to be a disaster. Hannah Marie, I did answer your question. You're welcome. My friend is in Portugal at the moment to have an operation there because medical aid and here so long. Yeah, it's terrible. If people in South Africa don't come together like in 94 and fix things, nothing's going to work like Mandela. Well, you're right, Taboho, but South Africans have to come together. Please, Chris, could you put your link to your Substack? I thought it was there. Okay. I thought it was pinned at the top. I will put it in again. So here's the Substack. Paste. Okay. There you go. That's the Substack. And it's now pinned at the top. Okay, it wasn't pinned. My bad. I put it in the chat earlier. I didn't pin it. Okay. Yeah, Thibault has made the effort of being here. If he's misinformed, let's inform him without judgment. Thank you. Chala, 100%. Saving South Man's sacrifice. That's true. I think that one of the reasons Cupcake has signed the bills is because his caters have threatened him. Oh, yeah, no. Ramaphosa has no strength. He's just he's a puppet. My son was part of the private security that had to assist the police to quell the riots. Yep. You had to supply him with ammunition. Yep. Yeah, the ANC has raped the country. Linda says Chris Zelensky is going to be in big shit if it's true. No, that's fake news as far as we know. We've not been able to prove that. If they had knowledge and help, yeah, the Hamas thing, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Zimbabwe wants to pay the farmers to go back now. Yeah, they want to do that for several years. That judgment was reached years ago, but there's no money, so it's not happening. But I would never go back if I was them. Yeah, so thank you, Peter O'Connor. That's what I talked about. So a family member from South Africa in the 1980s moved to Zimbabwe after it was a majority black government. He bought a farm from the government. The government, under the Lancaster House Agreement, had first right of refusal on all land that was sold. So you couldn't buy land in Zimbabwe unless the government said you could buy it. So the government would look at it, okay, is this land we can restore to black folks? No. Okay, then you can buy it. So you buy the land. He took bush, turned it into inverted, productive farmland. Much of the farmland in the southeastern part of Zimbabwe was just useless scrubland. It was converted into verdant farmland by agricultural expertise, by hardworking farmers and their farm workers. So then his land was stolen from him in 2000. Correct. It's all fucking lies. The whole thing about Zimbabwe is lies. Racist lies told by ZANU-PF and by the media in the West. Oh, the white people stole the land. The settlers in 1890, the Jameson raid, the columns that came here. Oh, that's all bullshit. Half the white Zimbabweans moved to Zimbabwe after World War II. And many of them continued to come through the 60s and up to about 75, 76. Immigration exceeded emigration of white folks into Zimbabwe and Rhodesia. Only around 77 did things began to turn the other direction. So those who stayed after 1980 were committed to a multiracial Zimbabwe. And 42%, or 38%, 42% of all commercial farmland so designated by the government was land that was purchased at least one time after Mugabe took over as prime minister in 1980. So much of that land was sold 2 and 3 times because it's the nature of farmland. People buy it, they sell it, back and forth. So almost half the land could have been bought and distributed to black black Zimbabweans from 1980 till 2000 in that 20-year period. Imagine how many land sales took place that almost half the farmland was sold, or agricultural land, at least one time. So there's more opportunities because some of that land was sold 2, 3, 4, 5 times in that 20-year period. So the government of Zimbabwe, if they gave a shit about Zimbabweans, black Zimbabweans, they could have purchased land. But then the excuse is always when you get into this discussion, because they don't think you're smart enough to know this, and we do know this. I followed this for 40 years. I know what they did. If you know this, then you catch them on that, then the response is, well, we didn't have any money. But see, that's a lie too. From 1980 until 1992, under the Lancaster House Agreement, the British government transferred 63 million pounds, which in today's money must be like 400 million pounds or something like that. 63 million pounds to buy land from a willing buyer, willing seller basis. They took the money, they bought some farms, and where did they go? Sharon Spiri, Constantine Chiwengo, Robert Gabriel Mugabe, Emerson Mnangagwa, and the list goes on and on and on. Police, ZANU-PF, and military got those farms, those properties. They didn't go to poor black Zimbabweans, almost never. So in 1992, John Major said, that's it, enough. After the old lady was gone, the Iron Lady, that's enough. We're not giving any more money to Zimbabwe. So the problem started from there. Their economy stagnated when they didn't get money to grease the economy. So they started stealing from the farmers by forcing them to sell their grain to the government marketing board. So if you produce maize and it's $10 a bushel for a bushel of maize, as a farmer, by law, you are forced to sell it to the government grain marketing board at $8 or $9, whatever figure they set. So let's say they charge $8. So now you only get $8 for your maize. Thank you, Tito Ponte. I'm not going to be able to all these salutes. So now you get $8 for that bushel when the market price is $10. So you've just been out of $2 of your value. Well, you have to borrow money for fertilizer, for fuel, for building on your property, for fixing fences, for irrigation pipes, all that stuff. And you got to pay your workers. So you borrow the money for the seed and all the inputs. Then you sell your goods and you're getting less than market price. Sometimes you're selling a loss because of this nonsense. So the corrupt ZANU-PF officials put the money in their pocket and got enriched at your misery. So many farmers had enough of this bullshit by the year 2000. ZANU-PF was under a lot of pressure after the murders and well, wasn't a genocide, but the extermination of ZAPU supporters in Matabeleland back in the 1980s. So because they're under international pressure, they finally in the 1990s backed off and allowed opposition parties to exist after they merged ZAPU and ZANU to form ZANU-PF back in the 1980s. Then it went for a decade without any opposition parties. Then they allowed the Movement for Democratic Change to register and become a political party. And the Movement for Democratic Change lobbied against Mugabe's referendum to change the constitution so that he had dictatorial powers. They lobbied against it. So in revenge, Mugabe went after the MDC. They went after Morgan Tsvangirai and Roy Bennett and all the people who were leading that party. And the people who supported that party included commercial farmers who had had enough of being robbed and cheated. They thought they lived in a democracy, so they supported this party. Some of them openly, some of them clandestinely. And so the first farm invasions by little Hitler, little scumbag, and his band of 14-year-old kids who weren't even born when Rhodesia was an independent country. So how are they veterans, war veterans? Their little war veterans went out to farms, toy-toyed, and they murdered David Livingston and Stevens and all the others. All the farmers attacked in the first wave were people who were openly or clandestinely financial supporters of the MDC. And it was retribution. Mugabe said, I was magnanimous. I let you stay here, and you betray me like this. And that's what it all came down to. So I know the history of Zimbabwe. I know it. Thank you, Rotten Pumpkin. Yeah, they'll blame someone, Anita. How will they do a screening? How they're what? Refugee screening? They'll rent places. I've said this for months. So not the real Trumper telling Taboho he's wasting his time. The audience is mentally already in America. Their materialism is not yet dispatched. They won't fight to the death for the right for their homeland. Yeah. So my question, you not the real Trumper, will you stand with Taboho? Since you're disparaging my audience, most of whom aren't even coming to America. You don't even know who this audience is. Just because the people who jump in the chat want to hear questions about that, you just made a presumption this audience is all people want to come to America. You're wrong. Lamol is saying that South Africa is not aligned. Yeah, what a load of rubbish, exactly. Most of us will do this for our children. A child is white. There's absolutely no future for him, okay? Yeah, South Africa's going down the same path as Zimbabwe. Those that stay will fight. Those that go will support us. Yep. Botswana's had some great leaders in the past who've done great things for Botswana, Mauritius. Although he's a bit of a tyrant and a fascist, what's happening in Rwanda has been very good. The leader there has been there forever, though. Martin staying. There you go. One of the problems is the majority of persons do not know the history of their own countries. Exactly. Yeah. They don't know fact checking. They go to social media and they leave the nonsense here. By the way, I want my apology from Newsroom Africa. I want the apology. By the way, did you guys ever go there and do anything with that video? Let me see. It was 7. Let me see if anybody went and commented on that a few hours ago. 10 replies. Three people went there, so. See, dumb people love your channel. Thank you. 3 people went over there and comment on that. Yeah, but Newsroom Africa also owes me an apology. They libeled or they slandered me. They slandered me with their lies. I never said the things they said. I said about Amanda Gous. I questioned her argument about sanctions. There are no sanctions in South Africa. She lied or misled people by claiming there were sanctions, and I questioned her on it. I never questioned on her comments about land. That's mistaken. And they lied. They lied about me. So they owe me an apology as well. And I might just file a case with the press ombudsman about that. So Newsroom Africa, I know you have interns watching this program. You're on notice. I expect an apology for your lying about me in your video. Go back and do it and stop lying about me. Rita says, when Chris opened up the memory bank speech or rant, I stopped chatting and listened. Okay. Tabo says he loves white folks. Well, good. That's awesome. No, most black people aren't racist. Just like most white people aren't racist. Of course, black folks embrace American culture. People around the world embrace American culture. Yep. Yeah, 70,000. We're getting close. How are we doing? Let's take a look. How close are we to 70,000? Ooh, 968. If we can get 32 more subscribers, what's 70,000 on this stream? Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be so cool? I guess I'm not going to do a video tonight because it's late now, so I'm not going to do it. The quadriplegic gentleman must have went off to watch the videos, so thank you for coming. Yep. Afrikaners make a plan to run. Note, Boermaken plan to stay in overcoming situation, protect their lineage, culture. Well, not a real Trumper. You should relax because even if 10,000 or 50,000 or 500,000 Afrikaners leave South Africa, Afrikaners will survive. Even though their culture will be absorbed most likely in other places they go, those who stay in South Africa will still be Afrikaners. They won't change. So I don't know what you're so threatened by. Newsweek is ANC. Newsweek, you mean newsroom? Well, they were forced to apologize. That's why I went on the video and I said, you owe me an apology now. But that's because someone filed a case with the press ombudsman, and I think I'll do that. I think I'll file a case with the press ombudsman to get them to apologize because they lied. Newsroom Africa did a video, and I made a response to it, in which they said that that I had spread misinformation. I remember exactly what they said, but basically they said I spread misinformation, saying that Professor Amanda Gous from Stellenbosch was wrong about what she said about land distribution. I didn't talk about land redistribution. What I talked about is that she went on there, she's interviewed, and said the U.S. is, these sanctions the U.S. is imposed by Trump. There were no sanctions. I said, show me the sanctions. I don't remember which video that was, but yeah, so they lied. They went there and lied about me. They said an American YouTuber, you know, a retired colonel or former colonel. I'm not a former colonel. I'm a colonel. That's my title. It's legitimate. I'm still subject to recall. I could be tomorrow shaved, clean shaven, and back in uniform, assuming I can fit in it, and be working back in the Army. I've already been offered that opportunity. The Army asked me to come back a couple years ago, and I refused. So, you know, former colonel, that's bullshit. There's no such thing. Unless I did retire. If I was in the military, made full colonel, and then resigned and walked away, then I'd be a former colonel. But I retired. I'm on a retired list. I carry an identification card. I can still be called back to serve my government, my country. That makes me a colonel. I just have to identify myself as retired when I sign things and present myself, which is what I do. So I'm not a former colonel, Newsroom Africa. Get your interns to get you the correct information and do a little research. Anyway, so. Yeah, Stellenbosch is a leftist cesspool of shit. Stellenbosch University is look. I've been published by them, but it's a woke institution. It's anti-Afrikaans. It's anti-American. It's horrible. Yolanda says, I will go if America will take me. Yep. ANC proposed to destroy private security. That bill is out there, yes. People who say kill the Boers and farmers are wrong, yes, but I don't like when they do these things. Anyway, well, Tabo, thanks for being here, man. Do appreciate you being here tonight. And also not trolling, but asking real things, real questions. That's pretty cool. We have almost 840 people here. 13,400 people have tuned into this stream. Let's see how we're doing on subscribers. We picked up any more. 77. So we're now just 23 subscribers from 70,000. Can we get there? If there are 23 people here of the 800 people currently watching, I've been accused of being an e-beggar by, someone down under once upon a time. So I'll do a little e-begging. Please go subscribe. Please go subscribe. Oh, this tab froze again. YouTube, man, it's got some serious problems. Need to get that fixed. Okay, let's go back here. So we can get to 70,000 so I can go to bed. I got to get up for rugby here in a little bit. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm starving. I'm going to get something. I got some lunch meat and some Swiss cheese. And I'm going to eat that with some crisp. Yeah. Yeah, it's free to subscribe. I think that's the problem. A lot of people think you have to pay. Subscription is free. It doesn't cost you anything, man. All you do is push the subscription button and then you can comment, Yep. What's your view on the book, The Stellenbosch Mafia? I had that book, Rakes. I've never had a chance to finish reading it. I've just read the beginning of it. So, yeah, I think it's fascinating. My daughter is 39. She's not leaving, and there are many reasons. I would have to be a multimillionaire to take my animals. No, Alan. Oh, that's a question. Someone asked about the animals earlier. You can do that. You can take your animals. There's restrictions, and it costs you money. Always asked to sign if I want to associate with a group of people is, how do I benefit by associating with that group? Well, it's a fair question, Buster, but that's not my approach. Cliff Krause says, just thanks for putting accurate information out there. Well, you're welcome. Hank Rademeyer, thanks. Luckily, working in America, you don't have to give any land to the Tesla bot. Still waiting for an explanation. What's that? Okay. Newsroom Africa. Louis says you're going to lose your beard pretty soon. Well, 30,000 is a long way to go, folks. 30,000 a long way to go. That's a long way to go. Are we going to get to, we dropped below 800 now, or even going to get 70,000 tonight? Let's see. 69, 978, 992. We're 8 away. Oh. By the way, the beard doesn't come off at 70,000. It's 100,000. But will we get there tonight? We're 8 away from 70,000. Will we hit 70,000 before I go to bed? It's after 3. Come on, make it happen, folks. Oh, it's so close. You can taste it. I smell team spirit. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Come on, guys. 70,000. So close. 70,000. Can taste it. Here we go. 70,000. Oh, we're still 8 away. 8 away. So apparently there are only a few people here that are watching that hadn't been subscribers. How many subs was I 2 months ago? Well, 2 months ago from today, that would be the 5th of February, right? March, April. 5th of February, I can tell you. Cliff Krause just gave a 99 Rand super chat. Your first ever. Thank you for that. It didn't show up on the screen because the alert box was turned off. Subscribe. Lose your beard. A campaign. There, you guys start a campaign. Chris loses his beard. 100,000 subscribers. Yep. Which AR rifle would you recommend? It's budget friendly. I recommend a 50 cal. I recommend a 50 cal. Yeah, or a Vulcan. Those automatic, motion sensor detector, laser guided freaking automatic weapons that were used in the movie Congo to take out the silverbacks. They put them around the camp. I recommend those. Those are awesome. So 150,000 would grow the beard like Gandalf. I've had a beard like Gandalf already. Secret Agent Man. No, I'm not doing Secret Agent Man tonight. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, man. 93. We're still 7 away. We're not going to make it. Kevin Bannister. I'm busy making Melkos. Where's my daughter? So they will have switched over to the next day now. So let me take a look and see how many. We'll pick a big day for subscribers. Let me take a look at that. So from the 4th to the 5th. Come on, YouTube. 4th to the 5th live count. So we went from 67,450 to 69,964. So that's 2,444. almost 2,500 because now it's 3 it's midnight in California. So 699 So we're not there, folks. We're not there. Are we gonna make it? Are we gonna make it? Tin Yakos gave a 35 Rand super chat, and Kevin Bannister gave 14 Rand. Busy making Melkos, forced my daughter to sub. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. It's 95. Oh, are we gonna make it? Are we gonna make it? Oh, we're so close. 50 cows impractical for hunting 4 legs. 97. We're so close. Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Oh, we're so close. Texas made my week. Okay, cool. 97. Are we going to make it? So close. That's real time. It does it in real time. 98. Oh, we're so close, guys. 98. 2 more people. That's all it takes. Now watch somebody unsubscribe, smart ass. 2 more subscribers, folks. 2 more subscribers. Come on. 2 more. It's on 99. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. 1 more. We need 1 more. It's probably people that aren't even in the chat. 1 more. 99. Oh, come on. Ah, see, I knew there'd be a smart ass. Somebody unsubscribed. You dick. You dick. I knew somebody was going to do that. 99. We're back to 99. There we go. There it is. We hit it. Yeah. Yay, Bo. We hit 70,000 subscribers, folks. That's, oh, now we're over. I missed it. I missed it on the front page. 70,000 subscribers. You guys rock, man. Wow. We hit it tonight. That's incredible. Wow. I'm very grateful. Bye donkey. Quelle bois. Merci mille fois. That's his Abonnet von euch. Yeah, 70,000 subscribers. Wow, we hit 70,000 tonight. Man, oh man, thank you all so much. I really, really am so grateful for that. It took a long time to get to the stage, and now more people are subscribing. Wow, thank you all so much. That's unbelievable. That calls for a little Taran Lamb.
Sou hier de blinddraak as om julle saam te sien hoe jy jou hande vat in joune en nie meer aan my dink nie dis net te veel vir my is dit nou jou verby sal hier de blinddraak.
All right, I'm a fanboy. I like Taran Lamb. I love it. Love it, I love it. And yeah, she's hot. She's hot. Anyway, Taran Lamb, fantastic. The dude dancing with her, I didn't get that part, but it's fine. The video is good. So there you go, folks. Wow, 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 wow. We hit 70,000 tonight. Oh, I finished the high pass. Very famous. Okay, well done. Okay, thank you all so much for that. We hit 70,000 tonight. Wow, we've almost hit 14,000 people watching this live stream, too. That's pretty exciting. 70,000. We're there, folks. Wow, that's... what an epic climb and journey it's been. Yeah, so again, for the people here tonight, 733 people, I'm telling you now, next weekend I have a project, and I really can't get out of this project. It's very, very important. It is related to South Africa, so I will let you know about the project once I get through the weekend. Maybe on Sunday next week, if I have time, I'll be able to tell you. But I've got a project going on next weekend, so I won't be doing my regular broadcast, but I'm going to try to do a few videos and pre-position them to play during the weekend so that you don't have no content from me. Anyway, so there you go. My mom-in-law is going to watch that. Okay, well, on Rugby Ascendant, that's where we'll be. Let me direct you to, well, I won't direct to it because it's hours from now, but it's in another 4.5 hours. So I'll be up for Rugby Ascendant in about 4 hours, and I'll be broadcasting the Bulls game. They'll be in France, so cool. It's reg so Chris. Well, thank you, Hugo Basson. Yep, congrats, anything goes. Thank you. Thanks for this live stream. And Private 1024 says 70 Rand. Great work. Thank you for that. Boy, almost hit a milestone with the super chats, too. We're up to 1,339 likes. Took us a while to get there. We're only at 500 earlier. So people also question about how long I can do a live stream. Do you realize we've been doing this for 3 hours and 43 minutes tonight? It's like we never even started. Not the real Trumper. Your existence on YouTube would be zilch unless you created a need for it. You remind me of the Yank Simpson who tried to get traction with South African viewers for the ESCOM corruption and debt. What is your problem, jerk off? What is your problem? Are you just an angry, spiteful, pathetic loser? Honestly. Really. Bye-bye. You were given a lot of rope. A lot of rope. Fuck off. You were given a lot of rope, buddy. A lot of rope. You remind me of a pathetic loser who's got nothing better to do than harass people or just having a conversation. This is a very Lecca conversation tonight, and you got to be an asshole. And I tolerated you for what, 2 or 3 hours here. You're gone now. David Faree, well done, 100 Rand, thank you for that. Samantha Holmes, 70 Rand, thank you for that. That's awesome. And yep, I missed the first hour, so now I wait for the video to catch up, says G9. Okay. Syncmasters, congratulations. You worked hard for this, and we thank you. You're welcome. Oh, I'll take 100,000 more. That'd be great. So, not a real Trumper. You remind me of a pathetic loser who just, hates people because they're, stuck in a world that doesn't exist. Grow up, man. Yeah, ESCOM increased their rates. Why don't you tell us the truth of what is happening? You say about the biggest stock loss in history. The truth? What is the truth? What is the truth, Urban? What truth? It's not the biggest stock loss in U.S. history. What are you talking about? Market decline, 6%? Not the biggest loss in history. It's a consequence of Trump's sanctions or his tariffs. What about it, Urban? That wasn't a topic tonight. You want to talk about that? Come back when I talk about the news. You didn't even give me a super chat and you want attention. Ooh, give me attention. Give me attention. Ooh. Me, Mr. Carter, Urban Grooves Temple over here. Give me your attention. You got my attention. What do you want to know about it? It's actually something lined up here in the news I had set for tonight. So, we already talked about the oil price slide. There you go, genius. Where were you at 3 hours and 45 minutes ago? There's that. And then we've got over here a whole bunch of stuff on that whole thing. Let me get to it. There you go. Trump's tariffs wipe out $6 trillion in 2 days. There you go. There you go. Look at it. I already have it lined up, asswipe. There you go. Worst week since 2020. So you just said the worst in history. You're so full of shit, your eyes are brown. It's not the worst in history. It's the worst in 4 years, 5 years. So get your facts right instead of running your yapper. Okay? There you go. So worst in 5 years. 6 trillion wiped off in 2 days. The Dow down 2,200 points as 6.4 trillion is wiped out in 2-day bloodbath as Trump declares war, or as China declares war with Trump. Down 2,231 points after suffering 1,600 dip the day before. So what's your point, jerk-off? BBC, Trump's tariffs have shaken the markets. How worried should we be? Not at all, folks. Not at all. Stock market is not the economy. Not the economy. If I had cash, I'd be buying stock here very soon because the market's overvalued. I addressed this earlier, Urban Grooves. So I've answered this. Why are you coming in here being stupid, You're going to go in the naughty corner yourself. 4,000 a month just to have ESCOM line access. That's crazy. Creative says, thank you. You're very welcome. Oh, yeah, there's penis envy going on here. Markets look like crap now. They're going to recover remarkably. Yeah, exactly. And then all the fools running around are just going to, buy on the dip. Exactly. But the dip isn't done. It isn't done. There's going to be uncertainty in the market for some time. So hold on. Hold on to your hats. Hold on to your hats. Yep. Because you might buy too soon. Anyway. Justus van Blerk says, well done with the subscriptions. Proud to be a subscriber and a member. Thank you for both, Justus. I appreciate that. Moss is laughing. Madeline, your eyes are brown. You come to the U.S., but I don't think you're full of crap just because your eyes are brown. Some people have pretty brown eyes. Erica Holtzkamp. Okay. Gillette 5 Pro 5 Super Smooth purchase my contribution. Oh, Erica wants the beard gone. And she's telling me which razor to use. No. That's it. 100,000 is a long way off, folks. Look, okay. Challenge accepted. All right. We're going to renew this thing at the 100,000. Okay. Look, I've already trimmed this beard from my navel all the way up to here. All right. But I have to lose 10 pounds before I get the beard shaved off. Otherwise, I'm going to look chubby. When we had the looting happen a few years back, the multicultural community came together. They did, Natasha, and I reported on it live during the whole insurrection. I was on the air all the time. Yes, Erica's laughing about that. Yeah, so your eyeballs are round. You're cool. Exactly. If you have diamond-shaped eyeballs, we got a problem. Johan, we get to 100,000 subscribers. You will watch me get my beard shaved. I didn't say it's all coming off, though. We go to a Van Gogh. Trump's tax reform's negative effect his biggest donors, but they're quiet. They clearly know something the hate wankers don't. Exactly. I like the long Delare. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Being space for too long, your eyeballs go flat. I think they do copy. Tiboho, yeah. Who said all black people hate white people? Wasn't me, man. Wasn't me. Erica just gave 10 memberships. I'm going to have to turn that off so we can get done here. Wasn't me. I never said that. I said most people. So there you go. And here's the big losers in the marketplace. So Trump's chaos and a couple of survivors. Yeah. Energy, technology, consumer staples, all those industries are down. So there you go. So I prepared to talk about this, but we never got to news because we're having a Lekka conversation. Also, we're going to talk about the National Security Agency general fired and his deputy fired. And they all blame it on Laura Loomer. So once again, South Africans are ruling the world. Laura Loomer, a South African, a journalist here in America, is being blamed for the firing of these guys. Will the beard shave be on live? Yeah, we'll have to be. We'll have to do that. Yep. But guys, we're not there. We're not going to get to 100,000. We're not going to get there. So, yeah. Yeah. Pete, that's good. Where's the rhetoric about Trump being only for the rich? He gave the rich a hiding on Wall Street. That's a good point. Raymond actually thinks their heads and not with their hearts. Think for the people of the country. Well, all right. South Africans ruling the world. It's no wonder it's in chaos and chaos, says Ruvani. Let's share the videos and get to 100,000 subs. Well, we hit 14,000 on this stream. That's pretty cool. 674 here now. Got some super chat revenue. 23 new members. Still 674 people watching. Thank you all for being here. But folks, it is now approaching 4 hours on this stream. So I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too. A couple trolls in here. Anyway, so I don't know what's with not a real Trumper. What your problem is, man. And what's your real issues. You remind me of someone that's just desperately angry with people for some reason. I don't know why you're angry. Okay, so you all have a good night. What should we leave you with? What do you guys want to hear? You want to hear? Does anyone want? I don't want to. I'm not going to play. Yeah, we'll just wrap it up here. Okay, we'll just wrap it up here. No, we'll play the Colonel's anthem. Okay, we'll play the Colonel's anthem. Okay, haven't played that in a long time. All right, so here's the Colonel Wyatt's anthem. This is one of my viewers. You guys, cheers. You can't cancel us. All right, now that's too late for can't cancel us. We'll do it tomorrow. Here you go. Don't forget, Davi Root is on the program at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We'll talk about the impact of all this on South Africa's economy. Cheers, cheers. Bye-bye, everybody. Be sure to hit the like button before you go. Get us to 1,500 likes.
Colonel Wyatt hits the screen, got stories bold and keen. Old soldier, sharp and mean, tells truths they've never seen. Rugby lover with a roar, Africa flowing in his core. YouTube rants they can't ignore, his passion makes his heart soar. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Military mind, keen and wise, truths come out, no disguise. South African skies in his eyes, hear his voice, no surprise. Retired soldier with the fight, in the dark he brings the light. Angry rants, truths ignite, join the cause, join the right. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Enemies knocked on his door, trolls attack, but he's more with each click. Watch him soar on the truth waves, he explodes. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, Don't miss the brawl.
Take a picture.